Well, good evening and welcome to our 2024 Region 9 Football Media Day. Devin Dixon with the Fan Sports Network, joined on our panel by Connor Collins, Paulie Ratliff, and we're ready to go today. It's all presented by the Boulevard. And first up, the Dixie Flyers joining us here on set. We're going to get with the Flyers and we'll run through every team. We'll hear from select coaches and players all day long, and then we'll finish up the end of our Media Day coverage with our all preseason team and the preseason combined media and coaches poll. Flyers joined us now, legendary coach Blaine Munkers in his second stint as head coach of the Flyers. I think this is season number 13 in that second stint, Coach. Glad you're here. Always good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, good to be here. Yeah, it's 13th year overall, so I'm glad to be back at Dixie. It always feels like home when I'm here, and I love coaching there.
Take us through the summer. Give us an overall recap of the summer and a preview for the Flyers this fall, what we'll see on the football field.
Well, June's always a busy month in football, so you're into weight training. You got 7-on-7 every weekend. Then we went up to SUU's camp for a week. Went up there in the last week of June. Then so we went about every day in June, 6 days a week, every day except Sunday. But then we take a few weeks off in July and got back at it a couple weeks ago. So hopefully we're ready to go.
Talk about key positions, returning starters. Give us a little preview of what we can expect this year.
Well, we have these three guys back that are starters. So Wyatt started at quarterback last year. He's back. Rand started at wide receiver last year. We're going to move him to running back. We have Porter Fielding on the O-line that's back. Milo Andrus is back on the O-line. Tano's here. He started a lot for us last year as a sophomore. So we got a lot of guys back, and we're excited for the season. Last year,
4-2 in region play. 5-7 overall, and again, like Coach mentioned, representing the rest of the Flyers, Wyatt Truman, Tano Anzalone, Rand Sawyer, and Nash Owens. We'll get to the players in a second, Coach, but talk to me a little bit about bringing Rick Berry back as your defensive coordinator.
Yeah, Rick, obviously he left a couple years ago and went over to Desert Hills to be the head coach, and then decided he'd try the college route again, so he went out to SVU, but that didn't work out for him for whatever reason, and we're glad to have him back. He was a big part of our program and has been for a long time, and it's a good transition. He moved right in, picked up for where he left off before, and a lot of the same staff that had helped him before, so that's been a great move for us.
Coach, not too many staffs get to say that they have two state championship winning coaches on their staff, so this is something big that you get to look at. How much pressure does that take off of you not having to worry about the defense and things like that now?
I always just kind of go out and try to find a really good defensive coordinator, and I've been fortunate to have a lot of them, and I just kind of turn them loose and let them do what they want. But Rick has a lot of experience. I mean, obviously he's been a head coach. He could be a head coach. It's like having two head coaches on the staff. So he's always prepared. He works hard, knows what he's doing. And at least we know we're going in the game with a sound program that could, or a plan that would be able to, give the kids a chance to win.
Really quickly, how many arm wrestles or flipping the coin, or you have to get guys on offense versus defense? And a follow-up question, how many guys do you think actually could play both ways for you this season?
Well, we probably have 2 or 3 that go both ways, but mainly it comes into practice. We don't argue too much about who's going to play where in the game, but when you get into practice time, we'll kind of get back, I got to have him today, I got to have him today. So we try to work that out so all these guys can be prepared on Friday night, know what they're doing, but we work through those things, and we have a lot of meetings. We spend a lot of time together to figure that stuff out, so it works out pretty good.
And Coach, I just wanted to ask you, with Chemo departing to Utah State, he was a huge piece of your offensive line. Who's going to be we all know football starts up front in the trenches. Who's going to be your leader of the offensive line this year?
Well, we have Nash here who played a lot last year. Porter Fielding started on the O-line. Milo Andrus started on the O-line. So they're going to be the anchors. Jackson started at left tackle for us a lot of the time last year until he got hurt. So we have probably a lot of depth on the O-line. It may be one of our biggest years that we've had a lot of depth and a lot of guys returning on there that have a lot of experience. So we're looking good things for them, and hopefully they can stay healthy and we can get through the year.
Real quickly, Coach, before we talk with the guys, preseason you got Springville, you got Mountain Ridge, and you've got Park City, and then your region schedule. What do you think of the schedule this year?
Oh, it's going to be tough. I mean, I like having a tough preseason. You can see where you're at, where you stand. You notice our record last year. We didn't have a winning year, but we had a winning season during the region. So I think, you get a tough preseason schedule. It helps you with your region play. I mean, every team down here is tough, so you just get used to week in and week out playing good talent. Then we're between Hurricane and Pineview, we're going down to Beaumont, California to play them again. They're a solid team in California, so our preseason's looking tough, but I think we'll be up for the challenge.
Do you like having a first region game against Hurricane before you go to California, so you got a region game under your belt?
Not really. I liked it a lot better before we had the bye first. So we went all the way through region. Then we played Palm Desert before, and then started region was better. But yeah, the schedule rotates around. And it is what it is. So we'll just make the best of it.
All right, let's go ahead.
I was just going to say, one last question as we're still on the schedule. How important are we factoring in RPIs at this point? Is it still about who you're scheduling and when you're scheduling them, or is it just kind of take who you can get at this point?
A lot of coaches kind of worry about that, who they play, where they play, who those teams play, but I don't really worry about that. I just want to worry about myself and worry about Dixie High and try to have a good, solid schedule preseason. And we've been playing Springville for like 17 years in a row now, so they're a good team, and there's always been a big rivalry. So I just go out and schedule them. I mean, I don't worry too much about the RP bye. I don't think I can control it in any way. So just let the chips fall where they are at the end of the year.
All right, we'll circle back for some more coaches' questions at the end, but let's get to the players. Let's start with you, Wyatt. How's the offseason been? How's the arm, buddy? Are you feeling good going into the season?
Yeah, my arm's feeling better than it ever has. Our receiver core is looking amazing. My O-line, better than it's ever been. Yeah, I just can't wait for season.
Tell me who are the kind of the main receivers you've been getting rapport with right now?
Tano, he's one of my main. Aiden Hellis, he's really good. Dante Ochoa, he's got great hands. Crew, he's really good. And then Isaiah Johnson, he's a tight end. He's amazing. Great blocker, great routes. Kason Grover, he's got amazing hands. Great routes. Everybody can catch the ball.
How much fun is it playing in Coach Munker's offense?
Say that again?
How much fun is it playing in this guy's offense?
Oh, it's the best. I love it. Not a better coach I've played for.
Tano, you heard Wyatt say that the chemistry is good. What's it like catching passes from this guy?
There honestly isn't a better quarterback in Region 9. There's absolutely not a day off that Wyatt has, and he's always down to get some work in no matter where it is, no matter what time, what day it is. He's always willing to get some work in.
You feel like that you guys can kind of fly under the radar and are a little bit of an underdog this year, or do you guys feel like you can go in and win the region?
Obviously, you got to go in with confidence. I think we're going to win region, obviously, and I think people don't think we're going to, and they do think we're an underdog, but I definitely think we have the best chances to win region this year.
And I wanted to ask Wyatt, you had last year you were in a rigorous quarterback battle throughout camp. You didn't start the season as a starter, but you took the job and ran with it. What's it like having a full off season under your belt now, working with these guys in camp and getting ready for this season? Do you feel more comfortable as a quarterback?
Yeah, last year I didn't get a start at camp. I had to work for my spot. But this season, knowing that I have the spot, just to know that I'm the leader, knowing leading the team, it's really fun. It's nice. It's nice, yeah.
Let's go to Nash. You heard Coach say, hey, you got some experience coming back at that offensive line. Do you feel like you guys are further ahead as a unit in the trenches than you were last year? I know you're early in fall camp right now.
Yeah, so we have 5 seniors starting this year, and we have a lot of chemistry. We've been playing a lot together since 6th grade, and yeah, it's pretty good.
Who's the leader of the offensive line, defensive line in the weight room?
I'd say Porter Fielding. He's works hard in the weight room, and I like to take after that and try to compete with him.
Porter versus Rand, who benches more?
Rand does.
Let's talk with Rand for a second. Rand, you're moving to running back. Tell me a little bit about the move from receiver to running back.
Yeah, we're just trying to get me the ball. It's easier just to hand it off right there than throw it, I'm excited for the move. It's a lot easier on the plays. It's like you're getting the ball. That's about it.
It looks like I got some numbers for you last season, Rand. It looks like you had about 126 carries, 365 yards, 6 touchdowns. Now, this was you playing wide receiver. We know that jet sweep was a big part of the offense. Yeah. How do we expect to see this change now coming out of the backfield? Is there going to be motioning around, moving you, or is it just going to be, hey, get the ball as quick as you can and get moving?
It's going to be like old-time football. We're slamming it all year. It's going to be slam ball.
Coach, when did you decide to make the move to Rand? I mean, you used him as a running back in certain situations last year, but full-time running back, that's a change.
Yeah, probably in the off season. I mean, we lost Silas Russell last year, and we're looking for a running back, and obviously he fits the bill. And I mean, he's not going to be solid there at running back all the time. We go empty, we'll get him out to receiver, and third down and long situations, we'll move him out of the backfield and get him out at receiver somewhere. But mainly he's going to play running back, and I think he's well suited for that position, and I think he's going to do well there.
Rand, have you been lobbying with Coach Barry to get some reps on defense as well?
Yeah, he keeps on pulling me over when I'm on offense. This guy kind of calls us drama and stuff. It's just what he does. But the defense is going to be great. He's got me at some DN sometimes. It's going to be fun.
Pin your ears back and rush the quarterback a little bit?
Yeah. I think I'm built for that position.
Any of you guys can answer this. Who's a newcomer on your team that maybe we haven't heard of that you think is going to make some noise in the region this year? Maybe a guy that didn't play some varsity last year that's going to have a big role this year.
Aiden Hellis, he's a slot. He is amazing. His routes are perfect. Hands are amazing. He's quick. The only thing he has is just a little short, but that's not a problem. Rand's a little short. He still gets around, but Aiden Hellis and Seth Morby. He started last year, but Seth's a huge part of our team.
Who's taller, Aiden or Rand?
I think Rand's got him by maybe an inch.
How tall are you, Rand? What are you, like
6'4", around there.
6'4".
I'm like a solid 5'8" and a half.
Half? You got the half?
You got to add the half.
With the beanie on, you're 5'7", man.
Yeah.
Good stuff. This seems like a fun group, Coach.
Yeah, they're fun. I mean, they like to work with each other and go to work with each other every day, and they know when it's time to go to work and when it's time to mess around. So, they're a fun group to coach, and I'm looking forward to it. And another guy I think you're really going to – I mean, he shined the last couple of years, but I think hopefully he comes out and really does this year's Isa Lapati, Chemo's little brother who plays the end for us, and he's going to be the anchor on that D-line. So I think he's going to do some great things for us this year too.
Last year, 57 tackles, 3 sacks. So
yeah. I think he's going to build on that this year. I mean, he's a beast in the weight room and on the field, and likes to play and gets after it. So. He's going to have a good year.
Why, real quick, anybody you're looking forward to playing? You got some buddies on another team in the region that you can't wait to go toe-to-toe with?
Yeah, Desert Hills. I'm really good friends with their quarterback. I did a quarterback coach with him. I'm friends with like a lot of them, but that's going to be a fun game, Desert Hills.
Hoping that's a little shootout or what?
Yeah.
Coach, you got any games circled on your calendar, or are you going to give me the politically correct answer here?
Yeah, I like all the region games. I mean, the coaches get along really well. There's not really any big conflicts with anybody, and they're all tough, and they're all good teams, and they all have good players, and at the end of the day, you just go out and play the game and prepare all week long, and Saturday the game's over, and you're all back to, being buddies again, and it's kind of a good relationship among the coaches down here. But I look forward to all of them. That's what's kind of fun down here is, every week's kind of a rival. No matter who you're playing, it's not like, when I've been at other schools, you have that one big rival, and I don't think it's that way down here. I think like every week it's like playing a rival school.
Question for you, Nash. Playing as a former offensive lineman, I know there's some certain schools out there you got some buddies who played at, and these offensive-defensive line matchups, they get deep. Last year we saw a lot of good matches in between the trenches. Is there one that you're looking forward to this season in specific?
I'm looking forward to Desert Hills probably. They got some big guys out there, and it's always fun to play against bigger guys. So I'm looking forward to that. And same with Crimson. That we played them in camp, and that was really fun. We played really well against them.
Coach, you feel like the region's bigger this year? A little more size, stature? I mean, everybody's coming to the weight room at a young age nowadays.
Yeah, I think, from what I've seen this summer so far, Desert Hills has the most size. But there's a lot of good teams, a lot of good athletes, on both sides of the ball. And up front, every team has that guy that can just get after you on any given night. So, there's some big kids in the region, even with the 2 kids that left Desert Hills and went to Bishop Gorman, they still got some big kids out there. So there's a lot of size, a lot of athleticism, and a lot of competitive kids in the region.
All right, we're getting this party started. The Dixie Flyers. Coach, final question, one-word answer. If I asked you what is one word that describes this year's Dixie Flyer team, what word would you use?
Competitive.
All right, look for the Flyers to be competitive on and off the field this year. Coach Munkers, guys, thanks for representing your teammates. Best of luck. We got a bunch of Flyer games. Mark your calendar, August 16th. They kick off the season against Springville. We'll take a break. When we come back, Crimson Cliffs will join us next. 2024 Region 9 Media Day continues. Here on the Fan Sports Network, 2024 Media Day coverage of the upcoming football season continues, presented by the Boulevard. We're also excited. Guess what's back this year? The Holbrook Asphalt Big Score Dessert. And when you go to Holbrook Asphalt, you get 25 points or more. They're paying for a free dessert at Yogurtland. When you buy one, you get the second one equal or lesser value for free. So a little change there, but still a great deal on Friday nights after your favorite team wins. And a team that won a lot last year, going undefeated in region play, 6-0. They went 13-1 overall. And, of course, we're the 4A state champs, the Crimson Cliffs Mustangs. We'll get to the players in just a second. But Coach Wayne back. Coach Wayne, always good to see you, buddy. You guys got your run in the other day, and here we go. Season's upon us.
That's right. Season's open now. That run is what we do to our Stain Gang run is what we do to officially open the season. So the boys are excited to finally get back after it.
Take us through the off season, being state champs, the rings, the work, trying to defend the title, and give us a preview of the guys.
Yeah, I mean, state champs is something we say is last year, right? We're not the state champs anymore in our eyes. It's a clean slate for everyone at this point. We had a great offseason. One thing about having Coach Andy Stokes back, and probably in my eyes, everyone talks about his offensive genius and how incredible he is as an OC, but I actually think he might just be a lot better in the weight room for us. And what he does in our weight room program and in our offseason is incredible. Coach Stokes has that place dialed in to where these young men have been able to get bigger, faster, stronger. And so that's been a great deal for us in spring and into summer. Had a really good summer. We went to 3 7-on-7s, all of them at college campuses. So we went to BYU, went to Weber State and Utah Tech. The boys performed very, very well. We lost at the semifinals at BYU to Lone Peak, which was really good for us and their confidence, especially as we go into this year where we'll be replacing 19 starters from last year's team. And so plus 22 backups, right? So we tell our young men that we've got a lot of seats to fill and roles to be filled. And so summer was really, really good. We ended it off at SUU camp, which is probably their favorite thing to do all year is SUU camp. I mean, there's a camaraderie that you can't build anywhere else that SUU provides, and being outside the home and for 4 days and being able to spend some time intimately with your teammates and be able to grind. I think there was 15 teams from all over Utah that was there, and so had some really, really good competition there to help, test our mettle a little bit. So summer was great.
Real quick, before we get into the guys, and I know these guys got some questions for you. Quarterback situation, still Barban, tough to replace, one of those seniors, but you got a battle on your hands, it looks like. Ryder Sherritt looks like maybe he's got the inside track, but there's a couple sophomores pushing him out from what I understand.
Yeah, for sure. It's always hard to replace someone like Steele, but we're lucky. We've got a good room of quarterbacks right now. Ryder's definitely doing an incredible job. He's had a really, really good summer. He's been competing really well, but we do have some other sophomores that are pushing him a little bit. We got Gunnar Higgins as well as Emmett Johnstone. Had a new move-in from Lehigh just come in this week. But, for sure, I think Ryder's leading the pack right now. But, it's definitely an open competition still.
And, Coach, I'm sure you guys are going to have that target painted on your back, being the defending state champions. But 43 seniors moving on, that's a big number.
Yeah.
What's kind of been the morale in the locker room? Are guys stepping up? Do you feel like you have leaders taking that role over? Or do you feel like you're still waiting for season to take off and those roles to kind of fill themselves out?
Yeah, it's funny. We were just talking about this the other day. The first 2 years at Crimson were hard. They were tough. We were dealing with a lot of sophomores and freshmen at that point. We've built the program now at this point where, this year I think we have 41 seniors. And so you got 41 kids who have been waiting their turn to fill those seats. So the program's in a really, really good, healthy place. Of those 19 starters, I probably see anywhere between 14 and 16 seniors replacing the seniors that all just left, right? And so we're in a good place that way. And I think the experience that they'll lack a lot of varsity experience. The thing that we were really fortunate of last year is, Steele didn't play, I think, in 9 or 10 fourth quarters, about 6 third quarters. Well, that means a lot of these young men got that much time last year in varsity games where teams weren't taking their starters out, and they got to have valuable reps. And so we're hoping that, on top of increased IQ, which I put that pressure on our coaches, is that's our number one focus, is the IQ's got to go up really high. And that's what we did 2 years ago when we had to replace 10 starters on defense, and Jay Sweeten and all those Parker were all first-year starters that year. And they did an incredible job. Their IQ rose to the level we needed to be, and we had a pretty successful season that year as well.
And Coach, you mentioned the quantity, 19 starters, but it's the quality too. You're losing a Parker Andrus, you're losing a Tyler West, you're losing a Steele Barbin. These are integral parts of your team, but how much is next man up a part of the Crimson culture?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely part of the culture, and it's always a phrase people are going to use, but let's be real. You don't replace a Parker Andrus, right? You don't replace a Ty West. What you do, and it's what's the beauty of high school sports, is you've got kids with different set of talents and strengths, and as coaches, that's our job to then maximize those things on a high school level and say, okay, well, obviously we're not going to be the same team we were last year, but who are we now? And that's what we're trying to figure out now with the talent that we have and the guys that we have and the leadership we have, is just trying to formulate and understand who we are now and make sure we maximize it as much as we can.
All right, we'll circle back to Coach in just a second. We're live here from the Be More Sports Complex. Nets on Fire, the rink, Intermountain Sports Performance, all here inside the Be More Sports Complex. That's where we're hosting our Media Day coverage. We got McKay Wright, McCord Christiansen, Malachi and Maddox Alofa Poe, and then we got Easton Webster and Max Griffiths representing the rest of the Stain gang that's not here. Let's start with you, McKay, and just give me a kind of a thought or two on the excitement level going into the season trying to defend the title.
Just coming into the season, there's always excitement about it, and like this summer build-up, it slowly builds up to more and more excitement as you get closer to the season. So we just started like our fall camp, and the excitement's through the roof right now for all the guys, and I think that brings a certain level of intensity and like a fun to the game.
How much did you learn from some of those upperclassmen that we just talked about that have moved on? A lot of them going to play next level college football across the state and the country.
Yeah, those guys ahead of us, they were a year older than us, those old seniors. They were great at what they did, and they were all great leaders. And I think that's kind of what they were great at, is just being great leaders and being able to take things from their game and kind of apply it to us as helped us, be better.
I noticed the blonde tips going. That was kind of the thing last year. You already got it. You haven't even played a game yet. But your teammates got to get in to your barber or what?
Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to jump the gun this year, I guess.
Let's talk with some more of the guys. You got a lot of reps last year, running the ball. Your helmet's all beat up, McCord. And talk about the offseason for you. I mean, how much gains did you have in the weight room? Did you do a lot of stuff on the side? So I know you probably have aspirations of playing college football at some point in time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think all of us here do. That's always a goal for a lot of high school players. But, yeah, I mean, the offseason's been great. Andy's put us to work. We've been working our guts off, but just trying to get better. The offensive line has been doing really great. I mean, they've stepped up big time. We're replacing almost all of our offensive line. But the young guys, they're working so hard, and they're doing great.
Do you have a couple of those offensive linemen you're able to shout out there? I know Jacob Zarate being one that a lot of people are looking at. He was kind of your guys' offensive line fundamental piece there. He's moving on. Like you said, the other four moving on. There's going to be a lot of new faces there. How does that help you in your game, or how does that affect your game, I should say?
These young guys, I'd say they're just as good. They're working hard. They learned a lot from the older guys. They were also great leaders. And, yeah, Easton Webster over here, I mean, he's awesome. He's a great guy, and he's an even better player. And some younger guys like Madden Smith, Tayson Wilkerson, another senior that he's stepping up. And, yeah, it's going to be real fun.
You got some individual numbers or goals in mind for yourself this year?
I don't. I just want to be successful with my team.
McKay told us off air he wants 150 tackles. Let's talk to Malachi. You burst on the scene last year, streaking down the field, catching touchdowns. Now you're going to be even a bigger role this year. You're going to be one of the dudes that your quarterback's going to look to. We heard your dad, coach, talk about the quarterback battle in camp. What do you see from all the quarterbacks you've got that could maybe win that starting job and be throwing balls to you?
Both quarterbacks are solid. They're just battling it out right now. And our whole receiving core is, we got like my brother, Caden Garcia, Jackson Holt. Like, we got a lot of depth there. So we're solid, got some move-ins. So, yeah, and then the quarterback. So they're just battling it out.
What was it like getting your first couple offers in the offseason? What went through your mind? And now, I don't know how many total you have now, but you've got a few.
Yeah, that was the goal, just taking what I can get. But I just got to do me and focus on, like, how good I can do this season, just take what I can get, whatever comes my way.
Does football ever turn off, or you guys talk about it nonstop 24/7? Because I know your mom's a big fan, too. I mean, she loves talking sports as much as your dad does.
Yeah, I mean, we do, like, track and wrestling and stuff, so, like, there's some other conversations about that, but football is the main topic at our house.
Malachi, I also wanted to ask you, obviously last year you ran a lot of deep routes, flies, goes. How comfortable are you with the full route tree this year and running more of the short and intermediate stuff, just getting open and getting the ball in your hands?
Yeah, deep threat was like for post fades. I was like, wow, I was the best at last year. But all these camps this year, I've been focusing on all the routes in the route tree, just training, going to camps, and just getting better.
Tell us about Maddox. We didn't see him a lot at varsity last year, but I know he's pretty good from what I understand. Tell us about your bro.
Yeah, he's been at all the camps and trainings with me. He's just getting better, and then now it's his time to shine this year at slot, so it'll be fun.
Real quickly, pass it back to Wayne. Wayne, what's it like coaching these two? And they're not defensive tackles like you were. Like, what the heck's going on?
Yeah, definitely got my wife's gene, that Esplin gene in him. So, no, honestly, it's been weird. I've been coaching football for almost 16 years in high school down here in St. George. Obviously, these are my oldest sons. When I decided to take the job, I let them know that nothing changes. It's actually going to be harder for them, that everything will be earned. And when they leave the program, I'm still here. And so we have to make sure that we keep the integrity of the program. I'm just proud of them. They've earned their way. They're doing a great job. They're surrounded by incredible young men all across the team and parents that help raise good young men in the community. So we're just very fortunate for that.
Let's go down to Max. Quick question here. Max, how's the offseason been for you, and where's your excitement level for the upcoming season?
Yeah, the offseason's been great. We've been lifting since like December. We've been going really hard. Coach Stokes has a great program for us. It's just, we've been way excited. It's our senior year, so we've been working hard and, way excited.
Your brother played for Crimson.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Jackson, right?
Yeah, he's actually he's helping coach linebackers this year. So
nice.
Yeah,
nice. It's a family affair at Crimson Cliff.
Well, yeah, Jackson actually just got home. Jackson Griffiths just got home about 3 weeks ago. He's going to be starting ball up at SUU in January, and he reached out and said, "Hey, I'd love to help coach." And so he's going to be an assistant middle linebackers coach for us. That's what he played for us when he was here, and so it's going to be nice to have someone like him around the program for the next 5 months before he heads off to college and helping our young men understand the standards. So it's going to be fun.
Max, who benched more in high school going into their senior year? You or your brother?
You said bench?
Yeah.
He's going to have to take that one.
Okay, squat.
He's got a little bit more on me.
Squat? 40-yard dash? You got to beat him at something.
Our squat's about the same. I think I'm a little bit faster than he was. Our squat's like about the same, but yeah, he did bench more than me. So we're working on it. I got surgery this offseason, or else I think I'd be up there with him.
Everything's good though. You're 100%.
Yeah. It's been like I think 7 months now. I've been cleared for a while. I did everything at SUU camp, so we're good to go. Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's go to Maddox for a second. Maddox, tell us about what it's like playing for Pops, man, and tell us about your excitement level for getting out there and running some routes this season.
Yeah, it's awesome playing for him. He's helped us coach us a little bit growing up, but now actually being at the varsity level with him is pretty cool.
What is your biggest attribute? You got as good hands or better hands than your brother, or are you faster than him in a 40-yard dash?
He's got me with linear speed, but I think I'm shiftier than him.
I like it.
Yeah.
Is there going to be any season goals here between you two? Anybody who has the better touchdowns, yardage? You guys got anything?
Oh yeah, it'll be a competition the whole season for sure.
Let's go to we got to get everybody in here, and we got Easton down there. Coach mentioned you're kind of anchoring this offensive line. You're the center on this team, and one of the leaders, it sounds like, with a big role this year. Talk about what that means to you and your expectations for yourself and the offensive line this year.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of players that moved on, so it'll be hard to fill some of those roles, but I'm excited because a lot of these younger guys have stepped up, and it's been good to see them working hard and fighting for positions. But I just think I got to be the best I can for these guys and make sure that they get the help they need to be successful.
What's your GPA?
3.9.
I knew it. Centers are smart. I thought it was going to be 3.8 or higher. I knew it. That's all the time we got. But, Coach, real quickly, give me a thought or two on your schedule and how it lays out.
Yeah, I think we have a really tough schedule, preseason especially. We've got Morgan, number 1 team in 3A. We got Bingham, top 5 team in 6A. We've got Springville, another top 5 team in 5A. We do have Stansbury in our bye week. We're going up to Stansbury. We're going to be road warriors this year. We got at Morgan, at Springville, at Stansbury. I think all of those games are going to really help us prepare for not just the short term but the long term haul for the season. And then obviously we got to go through the grind of our Region 9. And so really excited about our schedule. It's going to expose a lot of things for the better and for the worse, and that's what we wanted to do. So we're excited for that.
Coach, can't wait to see you and the Stang Gang out on the field. And as always, thanks for the access and the time with you and the boys.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
The Crimson Cliffs Mustangs, defending state champs, season fires up against Morgan, like Coach mentioned, on August 16th. We got to take a timeout. When we come back, the Hurricane Tigers are next in our 2024 Region 9 Football Media Day, live from Nets on Fire. Welcome back here to the Be More Sports Complex. We're at Nets on Fire, also right next door to the rink, downstairs, Intermountain Sports Performance, and great spot to hold our 2024 High School Football Media Day. We've been about 12 years bringing you the coverage, and this is probably the earliest we've ever started, which is going to be fun because we got till August 16th for you to get all fired up and get ready for the upcoming season. And I know there's a lot of excitement out on the east side in H-Town as we welcome in the Hurricane Tigers to our set, and first-year head coach Jerry Cowan. Coach, if we can, let's start with you and bring us up to speed. Tell all our viewers and our listeners what it's been like taking the job and give us an overall preview for the team this year.
Well, coming from a smaller school in Duchesne, I didn't really know exactly what to expect. Football's football, but, coming to Hurricane was something on our watch list for a while. We met my wife in Cedar City, southern Utah, and we loved it where we were, but we always knew if we were ever going to leave, it was going to be to this area. And so, it was a football program that kind of needed a little reviving, and we hope we can bring some excitement and, some toughness and some leadership. And there's some talented kids. It's just a matter of bringing out the best in them right now.
I've heard that you've went back and watched a lot of film in past years, and obviously you're going to put your own stamp on it. You won 5 state championships as a head coach at Duchesne, 7 total while you were on staff up there. Do you think you can fast-track this? Do you think it's going to take you a season or two, or is this going to be something that by year 4 or 5 we expect you to be at the top of the Region 9 standings if all goes well?
Well, right now we're looking at week 1. We play Mountain Crest, and I'd like to be able to predict everything, as far as the region goes. I know it's a talented region, but I haven't even got into that. We're looking at 1 week at a time and really just trying to learn about our own kids because, I get to, I've got 100 kids. I've got to learn their names. I've got to, put them through combines to see what kind of speed they have, what kind of strength they have, moving guys' positions. There's so much involved that looking at the other teams in Region 9 has been at the very bottom, of the list because that would be premature. I feel like we'll get to that point, but so far we've been excited with the kids and the commitment. And I coming into a program that struggled, you always kind of worry about why they've struggled and for the most part, our senior class is kind of small, so that's obviously a concern. We've only got 10 to 12 seniors and. But from there down, we have three groups that I feel real number-wise confident. So it's just a matter of younger guys being able to fill in with the quality group of seniors we do have, even though it's small, and getting the very most out of them.
And, Coach, talk about getting that process going because I know for a similar situation, I went to a really bad high school. We were one of the lowest ones in a really good division. This was out in California, and it was a tough job just trying to get kids to show up for tryouts and things like that. How's the buy-in level out there since you came in? Have guys been showing up for off-season workouts? And what is the message that you're sharing with these kids to get that buy-in level up?
Well, I think as a kid, they see a guy coming in that's been had somewhat success. And so anytime you get a new a new start, whether it's a new coach or, you see it all the time where families move to another town and it's just a fresh start. There's always a lot of excitement involved, and so that can go away real quick, but for the most part, we've been getting anywhere from 85 to 95 kids in the weight room, 4 days a week, which I'm very proud of, with these kids. And so the buy-in has been, in my opinion, I mean, there's not a kid that I'm looking at that's not heavily involved in the, in the varsity group right now that hasn't been pretty consistent. It's only been a couple months, but I mean, that's what it's going to take. And obviously the long term, time will tell, but the long term, you'll see more of a drastic effect as far as the weight room goes. And I mean, you can only do so much in a short amount of time, but like I said, I think the commitment's been what I hoped for, and that's really all I can say. I don't know what it was like before, but coming in, not knowing for sure, just like the question you just asked, I mean, it could have went either way. It could have been me making phone calls to get kids to come, going to their house, but I haven't had to do that.
And Coach, you obviously won 5 state titles. You were part of 7. Your culture that you had at Duchesne worked. What are some cultural things that you've instituted to the program at Hurricane? Obviously, the weight room buy-in's been great.
The weight room, obviously, probably one of the top ones. Being in the school. I know some of these coaches that aren't in the school. I'll be in the weight room with them year-round is going to be a good thing. But honestly, just bringing a toughness to them. A level of toughness and having high standards, high expectations. Being a leader. I think the kids. Anytime there's success that's not necessarily happening, you can look at a lot of factors, but I feel like I bring a leadership quality that these kids can look up to and be able to say, what, when this guy says something, hopefully we know, they believe that I know what I'm talking about, and obviously the staff I've had to, kind of get them to buy into what I'm bringing, and so from the top to the bottom, it's been a smooth transition. I don't know what that means for wins and losses, but we haven't had a second thought of should we have came here or not, and that was my biggest concern, is I don't want to get there and regret it. And right now, I mean, we're excited to turn this thing around and bring it back to what it's been in the past, and I think the pieces are in place. It's just a matter of whether it's going to happen day 1 or day 400. I have no idea, but it's going to happen.
You mentioned your staff. How many are newcomers and how many of the old staff are back?
Probably about 14 returners and about 6 new guys. So I brought in a few guys, but I mean, you're not going to go in and find a whole new staff. I mean, there's just too many variables to get people that actually have time and want to put the time in. And so for me, it was just keeping the guys that I felt like, were all in, and then bringing some fresh blood. And mostly, I mean, it's my job to mentor those guys. And, you can always make, staff members better. You give them expectations just like you do the players. And whether they've had that or not, I'm not sure. But, I expect those guys to be coaching and every play. And if they're not out there to coach, I don't know why they would be out there.
X's and O's wise, I mean, will you call one side of the ball, or will you have an offensive and defensive coordinator?
Yeah, I mean, the title things, I'm not a big title guy, but, I'll call the defense. I'm going to have help. We have headsets. We communicate, suggestions, but I guess I'm known, I guess I would be more known for a defensive guy. Offensively, Hurricane luckily had the similar type of offense that we ran in Duchesne, so, I also feel like I'm going to be a big part of that. Maybe not so much in the play calling. The former coach, Coach Ashby's the coordinator, but I'll always be involved regardless. I'll spend the time with the O-line and scheme, and so he gets to call the plays. But I mean, there's so many factors involved that it's not just one guy. But so it's going to be a group effort.
All right, Coach Cowan, good to talk to you. We're not done with you yet. We'll circle back and get your thoughts on the schedule and a couple other things. But let's meet the players here. We got 4 players representing the rest of their teammates. We've got Brian Ireland, Gage Huntsman, Austin McRoberts, and, of course, QB1, Dylan Gabriel. And, Brian, since you're right next to Coach, we'll start with you. And how's camp going, and how's the players' side adjusting to a new head coach?
I think it's been pretty good. We've been working hard, and things feel a lot different this year, and it's just going good so far.
Do you feel like there's going to be a certain type of physical and a toughness that you can play with down in Hurricane? I feel like that's the team that has that edge to them, especially because there is kind of that chip on the shoulder. A lot of people have felt like they've counted Hurricane out, and it's your guys' job to say, no, we're still right here, and we're right in that mix. How do you feel like that's going to translate to your guys' game?
I think it's going to translate a lot because I think, like you said, we've always been – everyone always says Hurricane, it's easy win, but – I think Coach Cameron brings a lot of intensity to our team, and he's got to play with a lot of it this year.
Let's go down. Let's pass the mic down here and talk about your role this year. Maybe some personal goals that you've got that you'd like to accomplish, and then maybe some team goals that you guys think you guys can go out and get done.
So I think my role is just helping the team out, intensity and bringing the impact. And some goals that we have is just to win, obviously, and definitely hit hard. That's the biggest goal.
Coach mentioned you got a small senior class. How many juniors and sophomores will actually play a big role on your team and the makeup of the varsity roster?
So obviously our junior class, they've won forever. So our junior class is solid. Our sophomores, they've been pretty good too. So they'll bring it up.
Going down the line here, and Austin, right?
Yes, sir.
Where are you going to be? You going to be a receiver, running back, DB? Yeah. Where are you playing?
I'm playing our safety and our slot receiver.
Okay. How many guys like yourself will probably get a chance to play both sides of the ball this year, do you think?
A few of us, not a lot, but, Brian over here, he's playing both sides of the ball. We got a few other players, but, got to make an impact.
Which side do you like better? Offense or defense?
Coach isn't going to like this, but I like playing offense a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, hey, honesty, right? Honesty.
Yeah, got to be honest.
But when you're on defense, you're still giving it everything you got. It's not like you're taking plays off or anything.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And Austin, last year playing with Dylan, how's the chemistry? Now you're at the slot receiver role. How's the chemistry been with Dylan and you, forming that kind of second sense with each other, always knowing when someone's open, always being in the right spot? How has it been early, the chemistry?
Oh, yeah, it's just been clicking ever since day one. Ever since me and Dylan started playing together in third grade, it's just always been, it's like he's got my back, I got his, It's just always playing together, always learning from each other. Just a great team we make.
Let's go to Dylan. Dylan, obviously, for the quarterback, you got to sling it. You got to make pre-snap reads. You got to make on-play reads. Like a lot that goes through your mind in a 3 or 4 or 5 second play.
Yeah.
Now that you're an upperclassman, you got all that experience last year. What's your thoughts going into this season, and how have you improved in the offseason?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, obviously, I was a sophomore last year. Didn't do all that good, but got a lot of experience, and hopefully we can turn that into something this year. And I feel like I got a lot more chemistry with my teammates. So
I felt like your rushing numbers were pretty good last year. Obviously, 8 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Is that something you want to clean up? Is that touchdown to interception ratio?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, I want to get my completion percentage up and touchdown ratio percentage up. So it's going to be good this year, I feel. Got Coach Harrison brought in, and he's helped me out a lot.
I was going to ask, with the new coaching staff coming in, of course, you still have some coaches returning.
Yeah.
How has that affected the way that you're learning the offense? Is it a similar offense? Are there some small differences that have been just kind of simple fixes, or is there some big things that you need to pay attention to that's going to help get everyone on the same page?
Yeah, so like I said, Coach Harrison was brought in, and he's helped me a whole lot with just being able to read the field a lot better and just making it a lot simpler than it was last year, I feel like. And I feel like there hasn't been a whole lot of big changes, slight changes. So it's been pretty good.
I know it's early in fall camp, but how's the O-line look? That's very big importance for your run game and your passing game. Got to have time to get rid of the football.
Yeah, of course. And we went to SUU a couple months ago, and they did really good, I feel like, and I'm excited. That's all I can say. I'm excited.
Crimson mentioned the SUU camp was awesome, as far as morale and chemistry and team building, and you're staying up there with it. What is it about that camp that makes it so fun?
I don't know. We get to stay with our teammates. We share dorms, and I feel like it just builds a lot of team chemistry, and it's just fun. We get to stay up sometimes, and maybe coach doesn't want to hear that, but
back to Coach, it probably is good to hear that these guys are developing that chemistry, going out, and when they do have to stay in the dorms together. Has there been anybody that you've seen just coming in, and it's still early, but somebody that's really just taking your eye and you're like, hey, this is a guy I think I can lead this team going forward?
I mean, coming in, you hear things about kids, this kid's this way or this kid's this way. This kid works hard, this kid's lazy, this kid. And I kind of took that with a grain of salt because if I don't see it, I don't believe it. And I think, I've mentioned to these guys, because we have a lot of young kids, so I've mentioned to these guys multiple times, one of our biggest challenges is leadership, because we are young, and I don't care if you're a junior or a senior, even a sophomore. If you're a leader, you step up and be a leader. And, so that's been our downfall, I think, to this point, is identifying what 3 or 4 – I mean, these guys aren't captains yet. We haven't voted for captains. This is who I kind of picked, they're obviously good players, but some of these guys are more vocal. And the guy sitting next to me, Brian, has been kind of, in my eyes, kind of one of the surprises as far as being a leader. He's one of the kids I heard, he doesn't, he needs to get better at this. He needs to get better at that, which we all do. But one thing I like about Brian is, man, he plays with emotion. He gives it everything he has in the weight room. And he's a little undersized, and he played middle linebacker. And I said, no, you're not a middle linebacker, dude. You're a nose guard. And so, he hasn't played O-line before. He's playing O-line. So it's like, hey, man, you can either buy in and be on the field, or you can be a backup, And so just getting guys like Austin talked about, playing both ways. I mean, I'm a big, small school. I don't care if you're the best player on the defense and the offense. You're playing both. And now I'm Dylan, and we kind of got to protect a little bit, being a quarterback. So we'll kind of keep him off the defense for the most part. But I want guys that want to be on the field, And if that means we got to rest you a little bit, on a few plays here and there, we'll do that. But having Austin playing both ways is a lot more valuable than having him only half the time.
Yeah.
Coach, running out of time, guys. Thanks for representing the rest of your teammates, and I want to finish up with just a couple thoughts on the schedule. I mean, you got Mountain Crest, you got Moapa and Hillcrest early on in the preseason, and then you get into your region schedule, obviously.
Yeah, like you said, man, I've kind of looked a little bit at Moapa just because they're week 2. They run a similar offense, but Mountain Crest is really the investment that we're putting our time into, and they lost their most of all their skilled kids last year, which is a good thing for us. But then I got looking at them and got a little bit of video from camp at SU when they went down. They went 2 weeks after we did, so we didn't see them at camp. But it looked like they reloaded pretty well, with personnel. So, schedule-wise, I mean, we can look at, the region play is obviously going to be difficult. The preseason, we end with San Juan, which I'm excited about because they're 36-game winning streak, and I think they're going to be about 44 by the time we get to them. And we actually own the all-time Utah winning streak in Duchesne with 48. So having them on our schedule was something that I was excited to see. And so a lot of variety, a lot of, we'll see spread teams, we'll see wing T teams, we'll see, power teams. And so it's exciting. Week to week game plans are going to be different. And, I'm just excited to be a difference maker, in this town and bring some excitement. And we're hoping the community will buy in and be on board. And, there's a lot of tradition in Hurricane. Like I said, it's been a little while since they've been, on the, I think we're going to be playing. I think over the last few years we've been a lot of homecoming games, and we're hoping that's still the case. But if they're going to schedule us, it's going to be a different type of game. And so, just appreciate you guys having us. And this is pretty cool what you do. You have all these kids here and make it fun for the whole area, because I mean, football is the top dog, and it brings out a lot of excitement for families. And so we're just ready for game 1. We have a lot of home games. So.
Well, we're excited to have you in Region 9, and looking forward to surprise some teams. And obviously we've got, I think, 6 Hurricane games on the broadcast schedule this year, so you get a chance to see the Tigers a lot right here on the Fan Sports Network. Coach, guys, best of luck this season. August 16th, they kick off the season against Mountain Crest. Got to take a break. Be right back. More Media Day coverage coming up on the Fan. Hey, welcome back, everybody. 2024 High School Football Media Day coverage here on the Fan Sports Network, on the live stream, coming at you from the Be More Sports Complex, home of Nets on Fire and the Rink and Intermountain Sports Performance, all some of our great sponsors of the upcoming football season. fun place to be. And the next team joining us on set, the Desert Hills Thunder. Coach Tapp's daughter going off to college today. He couldn't be with us, but we got the next best thing, assistant coach Sam Stevens, also the offensive coordinator. And, Coach, before we get into the guys, as always, let's start with you and take us through the offseason and give us an overall preview for the Thunder for the upcoming school year.
Well, the offseason's been good. We started back in January, just like everybody else, weightlifting, and spring went really well. Summer camp went good. We went up to SUU, competed against some guys that are different colored than us, and as far as different schools. So it was nice to see some new, going against new defenses, new offenses, than instead of going against ourselves. And so we learned a lot up there. We saw a lot of things that we need to fix, but we also saw a lot of great things and things to look forward to for the season. So off-season's been pretty good. These boys have been putting in a lot of work. They've been sacrificing. They've been getting up early in the morning, and they're there every day and grinding. So,
Coach, what's this offseason been like? We know there's been some transitioning on the roster. Stu Talfa, Ocean Talfa, two of the big names going to Bishop Gorman. But we're also seeing some other guys step up. What has this offseason shown you, and has there been any specific names that you can single out?
Well, I mean, that's the nature of the game, right? It's always the next man up. So you got to prepare for that all the time. So when we're on the field, we're not just developing those who we look at as starters. We're developing everybody, and so because at any moment somebody can go down or somebody could leave, or things happen, people move, and so you got to be ready with an answer and prepare for that. And I think we've done a pretty good job of doing that. And the boys, most of all, have done a good job of stepping in those shoes and filling in. And so losing guys like Stewart and Ocean, that's big. That's a big thing, and we wish them the best. But eventually it was going to happen. They're going to graduate. They're going to move on. So those guys that had to step up, had to step a little bit earlier than expected, and I think they've done a great job of stepping in there and doing their part.
And Coach, in year two of Coach Tapp's system, we've always heard it's more of a college atmosphere, more period-based training and stuff. What are the little things that have changed from last year to this year, as far as the guys taking to the system and the preparation, the weight room, all the things that go into summer training?
I think this year versus last year, the boys are clear on the expectations of Coach Tapp's. They've adjusted to his schedule and the way he does things. His ultimate goal is not just to teach the game of football, but to prepare them for life. And so he runs it like in the college atmosphere, because that's the kind of stuff that's going to be expected of them at the next level. Whether they play football or not, they're going to be expected to show up on their own merit and do the work just like anybody else would in any given situation, not just football. So I think the boys have really adjusted to that this year versus last year. Last year's the first year. This year they know what's expected of it, and they've responded really well.
Coach, last year you guys were 4-2 in region, tough region. That's respectable. Obviously 7-5 overall. Do you feel like you've got the potential to do better with this year's team? And do you feel like this year's team maybe going into fall camp is further ahead than last year's team in some ways?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, the offseason work is what really dictates how your season's going to go, in my opinion. And I think these boys have sacrificed quite a bit and worked hard and dedicated themselves to what we're doing here. They've picked up the offense pretty good and the defense pretty well. And I think, we have the talent necessary to go and do some things this year. But then again, we are in my opinion, one of the toughest regions in the state, and so there's a lot of good schools down here we got to go against, and they're working hard too. So it comes down to who's working the hardest and who's making the most sacrifices. And I think our boys have put in their fair share, and we'll see when season comes.
Desert Hills, Sam Stevens, assistant coach, offensive coordinator. Real quick, Coach, before we get to the players, I want to talk with the guys, but Faith Lutheran, Lehigh, Centennial, a couple of the preseason games. Give us your thoughts on that and just how the schedule lays out in general for the Thunder this year.
So we don't know a ton about Faith Lutheran. We know they had a great season last year. They have a fantastic running back. They have a pretty good squad. Lehigh, we all know about them in this state. Our opinion is, as a coaching staff, if we want to be the best, we got to play the best. And so we try to schedule games that reflect that and to challenge our players. Now, you look at risk of getting hurt and injured, and that's just part of the game. But again, we're under the philosophy of you want to be the best, you got to play the best, and we play in the best region in Utah, in my opinion, and so our preseason games, we kind of want to match that kind of competitiveness when we go against the opponents that we choose.
A lot of teams will schedule on the bye week. Your guys' bye week is in the middle of September after the Crimson game, but you didn't fill it this year, so you'll have the off week before you play Dixie. Is that a good thing in some ways to have that break middle of the season?
Bye weeks are good and bad. It takes you out, but at the same time, it rests you up and gets you guys to be focused for the rest of the season. So I have mixed feelings as far as that's concerned. So you got to retune. It's just a risk you take. But if you do it right and the coaches are on the same on board, or the same page, and the kids are on the same page, then we can go right into the season without missing a beat. So.
Let's get to know some of the guys here. We got Titan Mason with us. Titan, I want to ask you, how are you feeling? I mean, we're going off of last season, almost 250 carries, over 2,000 yards, an incredible season. How was that off season? Were you able to put some muscle on to kind of keep your body good, or do you feel like just the same old, same old?
Nah, yeah, it took me a little to recruit, but it wasn't that long. I've been working on my body a lot, ice baths, training, stuff like that, stretching. So it's been good, and then I put on probably 15 pounds since last season. I'm weighing like 210 right now, so yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Body's feeling good.
Obviously, you want the ball as much as possible, but Dylan's over there like, let me sling a little bit. Do you think you guys will be pretty balanced again this year?
Yeah, I think we're trying to get more throw in our offense because, I don't know, last year was kind of like it's good to run the ball, but we also got to be able to sling it when it's time to sling it, and I think we're going to try to do a little more throwing the ball when it's necessary.
I think I said Dylan. I meant Garrett. I think I said it wrong. He was just here earlier, so I had that in my head. You guys are buddies, though. Let's go to Garrett for just a second because Dylan's and Wyatt both seem like they're pretty good buddies. Is there kind of a camaraderie between quarterbacks in the region right now?
Yeah, we all kind of train at the same place. Me and Dylan, we went to school together, obviously. So it's kind of cool seeing him, but we all just train together and we all kind of compete together and just we try to improve on each other's skills and tell each other what to do better.
And Garrett, just wanted to ask you, last year a little bit of a revolving door at the quarterback room with you and Bo, but you kind of took the job and ran with it and really supplanted him. And now with a whole offseason of you as the starter, with repping with guys every day in practice, how much more comfortable are you this year going into this year?
Definitely a lot more comfortable. It's better not to – I felt like last year I was kind of under a microscope because it's just there's two guys obviously competing for the spot and you want to do the best you can. So this year it's feeling a lot better. Chemistry with the wide receivers. Instead of just getting there in spring, I've been there the whole year. I've gone to school with everybody. I kind of know how they feel about the game, how they run their routes, their speeds. So it's definitely a lot better, and the offense I think has changed to my liking and definitely Titans.
One of the guys you'll be throwing to a little bit, Trey. Let's go back to Trey. You going to be playing both ways or just receiver or both ways?
Just receiver.
Just receiver. You haven't lobbied to play a little D?
Yeah, no. I'm done with defense.
What's your favorite route to run, man?
Definitely a post or just a go, straight go. Yeah.
How is the wide receiver core looking going into this season?
I feel like we definitely have a smaller group than we did the past couple years, but I know I feel confident in our starters, and then if one of us have to go down or we need a break, I'm confident in our young guys to step up too. So,
who are some of the other names, teammates that are wide receivers running routes with you?
Right now it's me, Topper. We got Gavin out there, Coy, Isaac, and then that's usually it.
You guys still using the tight end a little bit?
Yeah, tight end too. We got Austin, and then Cyrus will get in there at tight end a little bit too.
Yeah,
So
Winsel, right? He's back.
Yeah, Winsel.
Yeah. Love it. Let's go down to Mr. Tofua. Tell me what you're weighing in at right now, man. You haven't went to no weight room or no meals lately.
Oh, a little 315 action.
What was it?
A little 315 action.
315. Is that good playing weight for you?
Oh, yeah.
Sam, is that a good playing weight for Alec?
Hey, despite his looks, he moves pretty good. He can move just about as good as these other guys around him.
Alec, take me through the guys in the trenches, man. I hear you guys are pretty big this year down in the blocks.
Yeah, so with losing Stewart, it was kind of a big deal, but, we've been training ever since the beginning of this year. And so we've just been putting in that work and hitting the weight room and, getting stronger every day.
And what's going to kind of be the plan going forward? I know last year we saw Stu play a little bit of tackle, play a little bit of center, kind of go in between. Are you guys going to have a new center stepping in? Is it you playing center, tackle? What's going to be the plan going forward on the front five?
Yeah, so we have a new center, and he's really working hard to be the best that he can at that spot, and he's really putting in the work and protecting our quarterback. And so
Do you feel like the O-line's better at run blocking right now in fall camp or pass blocking?
I feel like we're like a balanced in between.
Okay,
You know,
Garrett and Titan like to hear that.
yeah, we can run and we can protect our quarterback. So I think that's a good thing.
You guys blocked for a 2,000-yard rusher last year. That doesn't happen a lot in high school football. But how can you improve the pass blocking? Because, there was a lot of pressure and a lot of blitzers getting through last year, I thought. But this year, you think that it could be better, right?
Yes, sir. I think the key to that is just communicating with each other across the line and just knowing what to do. And I think that's what we're working on this year too.
All right, let's bring in Isaac. We're not going to leave Isaac down there on the end out. What's good, buddy? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
You excited to be here?
Yeah.
Good. Where are you playing at?
I play defensive end.
Okay. Got a goal on tackles or sacks or anything this year you've set for yourself?
I mean, just to be better than I have been in my past years. I didn't play a lot last year. I was injured, but I'm recovered now and looking forward to the season.
Well, obviously, Coach has brought you here for a reason. What do you think about being an upperclassman, a leader on this team?
I mean, it's weird that's gone by so fast, but we got a lot of good young guys, and we're going to take control, and I think we're going to have a good defense.
Talk about the importance the defense is going to have to carry this season, just with kind of things changing up. We know the offense has a rhythm, but the defense has a lot of people moving around. You got a lot of guys who have graduated. What do you think the defense's mindset's going to be this year?
I mean, we're just going to come hard every play. I'm one of the older guys, and we don't have a lot of older guys, but we got Cyrus still, and we got a lot of young backers and corners and stuff. And, yeah, we're just getting better every day and have a good mindset, and we're ready for this year.
You mentioned Cyrus. I want to go back to Coach. I mean, he just committed to the University of Utah. He jumped on the Fan Sports Network on the drive and kind of talked about that. Kind of one thing out of the way, and now he can just focus on his senior season. But he's the Swiss Army knife. He's the jack of all trades. Do you see yourselves using him all over like you did last year where he played 5-6 different positions, including special teams?
Yeah, I mean, Cyrus is a great asset to have. He's great on defense. He does a great job over there, and he's also a great offensive player. He's a playmaker. And so anytime he can put the ball in his hands, we're going to take advantage of that. So he'll definitely get some reps on offense. I'm an offensive guy, so
you want him.
Athletes, I want them. If I can get them, I'm going to try to get them.
And Coach, on Cyrus, obviously when you have a big name blue chip recruit, it brings attention to the school, and maybe other guys on the team can get looks. Have there been more colleges coming out to Desert Hills making contact with the school because Cyrus, Panay, all these guys getting recruited from Desert Hills as of late?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Not just Cyrus being there on the field. I mean, some of these guys have merited their own success and having coaches want to look at them. But we've definitely had a lot of schools there at our practice, and a lot of it has to do with Coach Taps. He's been in the college world for 30-plus years and knowing quite a few people in the college world. So, it seems like everybody knows him when they come to visit. They all know Coach Taps. So that doesn't hurt us as far as recruiting goes. But, yeah, definitely Cyrus being there and all the colleges looking at him, they've been at our practice. And they're not just looking at Cyrus. They're looking at everybody else. So it's been good for the boys.
And Titan, I want to go back to you real quick. We go back to last season. Kind of the focal point was getting you the ball, right? Everything kind of played off of you from that point on. Do you feel like now with Garrett kind of just getting more involved in this offense, it seems like there's a little bit more coherence now with knowing who's quarterback? Do you think anything's going to change? Do you think it's still going to be heavily dependent on your running style? Or do you feel like, hey, this can be as balanced as we've ever been?
No, I think it's good to get a starter in there, so it's kind of just weird flip-flopping around, kind of not knowing who's the guy for the offense, because on the offense you kind of need like a quarterback leader to step in and like know he's the guy. So it's good to have that now, and I think our offense is going to be very well. I'll get my touches, and then we got other playmakers that will make plays. And so we're kind of just like get guys open, playmakers open, get them the ball, so kind of who's ever, and then I'm sure I'll get my touches.
What are you getting as far as scholarship offers and looks right now? What are you hearing?
So I got my first D1 offer from Idaho State, and I just committed a couple weeks ago, so I'm excited for that.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank
Congratulations. You. Who's the loudest in the offensive huddles? Like at team camp at SUU, who's the loudest in the huddle?
We all kind of get riled up.
Why is Trey laughing?
Especially when it gets competitive. It can't be got competitive. We all talk a little bit.
I don't know. Trey seems like he's got something cooking up.
Couple O-line. I get pretty loud, but yeah.
Trey, who are you thinking of? You got somebody in mind?
I I don't really got anyone in mind, but I know it gets heated out there when we're playing other teams. So we all go a little crazy, but yeah, that's kind of what I was laughing at.
Dylan, I want to go back to you for a second. Like when you're just throwing, and or not Dylan, sorry, Garrett. I've done that twice now. I apologize. When you're just out throwing, like, can you throw it 70 yards, 75 yards? Do you ever see how far you can throw a football, like Uncle Rico style?
Probably the first I've ever thrown is like 60.
60?
But it's like 55 to 60 usually.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. What have you worked on in the offseason the most?
Definitely like player recognition and like defensive recognition. So I've just been working on that and like trying to get timing down with our players and play action and just trying to make everything look the same and keep everybody like on their toes.
Can't wait to see the Thunder in action. Faith Lutheran, that'll be on August 16th. Sam Stevens and the guys, best of luck on the season. Give Coach Taps our best. Tell him we're sorry. We hope we have him back next year.
Yeah, definitely will. Thank you. Thanks
All
for
right,
having us.
the Desert Hills Thunder, we got to take a break. Snow Canyon Warriors join us right after this. Back live here on the Fan Sports Network. Devin Dixon, Connor Collins, Paul Ratliff, excited to be your panel here for our 2024 Region 9 Football Media Day live from Nets on Fire, part of the B More Sports Complex. And the guests just keep rolling in. The Snow Canyon Warriors are in the building. Coach Mike Esplin entering his 9th year. Coach, it's been 9 years. Boy, does time fly, huh, buddy?
It goes fast, yeah. Yes, it does.
We got Joseph Smith. We got Archie and the guys. We'll meet the players in just a second, Coach, but just take a couple minutes. Tell us about the offseason. Give us an overall preview. Give us some names on offense, names on defense that you're excited to coach this year for Snow Canyon.
Yeah, so probably the biggest thing, maybe the biggest difference with this offseason and year shaping up so far is we have more numbers than we've ever had before. We've got, I think, 2 jerseys left. Hopefully we can fill them, but we've got depth. And a lot of that's due to our sophomore class, which is going to help some of our older kids. Our scout team's good. Our special teams is good. So that's a big deal. Off-season-wise, I feel like maybe I held the harness back on them a little bit, trying to stay away from injury and things like that, focus on technique. So during this week, we kind of talked about intensity's got to go way up, tackling's got to get a lot harder, things like that. But we've got a deep team. We've got quite a bit of talent. We have some good guys in the trenches, and we're excited to compete.
You know, looking at last year, you know, you guys 4-2 in region. You'll take that. It's a tough region.
Second place.
Yeah, 7-4 overall. But I know there was a little bit of disappointment at the end of the year the way it finished. Everybody's disappointed except for one state champ. Let's be honest. How do you feel like this team can be better than last year's team, and you can take that big, leap forward to the next level?
You know, I think that Crimson, I mean, just last year was a dominant team, and talking to Wayne and those guys, they did what they should have done. We played them really tough for a half, and they just had more depth, and we couldn't hang that second half. So, we feel like that we can fix some of those things, and we feel like now with depth, maybe a game like that during region, maybe we only lose one game or no games. Desert Hills, who knocked us out of the playoffs, is a big physical team. So that's something that we've been focused on is, if we're more athletic and we're facing a team that's maybe a little bit bigger in the box, what are some things that we can do to win those games? And it's been similar in the past when I felt like we had state championship teams where we lost to like a Ridgeline, and the difference was some size, and we need to be able to run the ball between the tackles. We need to be able to stop the run between the tackles. So we're working on those things.
Coach, you talk about stopping the run. Last year you had 2 of the best linebackers in the region, in Ryder Holt and Tegan Whitehead. Both those guys depart. Who's going to be patrolling the middle of the field for you guys this year?
So we did have Ryder Holt, who led the state family move up, and I think we'll be at Skyridge now, so we lose him that would have been a returner. For our team, linebackers and running backs, we have them coming through every year. We feel like we have really, really good linebacker crew. to fill in for those guys. Max may see some of that, and it's kind of a balancing act, right? So you're playing a lot of your best guys on offense and defense, and then trying to see what fits, and then also making sure that we don't have anybody hurt. But we have a platoon really of running back, linebacker type of kids, just where they fit best once the season comes.
I know he's sitting to your right, but tell us about your quarterback. I mean, the new quarterback this year, I think he threw 3 completions last year. Not a lot of reps as a varsity starter. What can we expect from Joseph?
You can expect leadership, and that's something that kind of 2 L words. I just barely thought of this, but we've been talking about loyalty, but leadership too. So with this senior group, they were asking for meetings before coaches. We were trying to, hey, take a break, breathe a little bit. We're going to get to this. But they were ready to go. They were asking for meetings. How can we get better? I think they've tried in every way possible that a kid their age can to really lead those kids within their senior group and the younger kids. But you can expect somebody, he has a great quarterback body. He's got a great arm. He can run the ball a lot better than, and I'm trying not to give too much away here, but he can run the ball definitely dangerous enough that if I was calling a defense against him, you certainly have to account for him in the offense. And a very smart 4.0. He's going to do some major things in his life with his brain, so super smart kid at quarterback.
And, Coach, a little bit of a 2-part question here for you and Max. We talk about last year's team. You guys pretty much had a track team in your wide receiver room. Guys were out here running what felt like 4.3s, 4.4s, like nothing. It was incredible. But what about this year? It seems like there's going to be a little bit of change on the offense as far as the wide receiver room. What do you think that's going to be like, and how has that affected your play as well?
Back to me. I would love these guys to kind of tell you nothing will be different as far as speed. We have speed all over the field, track guys that have legit speed. We have great team speed. So that will not change. You're going to see a lot of our guys at the spring season in the track championship probably winning another state championship in track.
Yeah, they've been absolutely dominant.
Yeah.
You guys have shared a lot of
Yes.
a lot of players back and forth between the spring and the fall. Coach Esplin, we'll circle back to Coach. We'll talk about the Warrior schedule in just a minute. Let's bring in the players. We got Joseph Smith, Archie Therafall, Max Reynolds, Andrew Castro. Joe Mack, let's start with you, man. What have you been working on in the offseason now that you're kind of basically a first-year starter going into this season? Has there been a lot of extra preparation? Have you had the receivers on the side, outside of team workouts, going and throwing a lot this offseason?
This offseason, it was really all the seniors' plan this year. We wanted to become a team. And so this whole offseason has been about being together. We started doing not early morning, but we've been doing weight room workouts since January and being together in the weight room, trying to get to be a team. And so that's been the focus in this offseason, is being together, and it's working and paying off in practice. We're in lockstep, and we're dominating in practice. We're doing great.
How's the cohesion with your wide receivers looking right now?
Great.
Obviously, the 7-on-7s, this is that time of year. It's ended now, but how was the 7-on-7 season? How's practice camp been early on?
We didn't run a 7-on-7 competitively out and about, but we did when we were going to the field during like spring and summer, what you're talking about. Our wide receiver core is awesome, and we have the guys to score touchdowns in the passing game. And so you can expect completions this year, and you can expect track star speed from our receiver core.
How's Max look?
He's looking great. He's healthy.
Is that back. Mustache a statement or what? And where's your mustache?
I don't got that.
Let's go to Archie. Archie, you got a lot of reps last year. You kind of burst on the scene, man. Ton of athleticism. What are you looking forward to the most in this upcoming football season for you and your teammates?
Yeah, we've been playing together for a long time. We've grown up our senior class playing together, and it's finally here our senior year. I'm just excited to play with my friends and just work hard and go get it this season.
What goes through your mind when you see, Desert Hills, a couple guys go to Bishop Gorman, you see Ryder go up north, Junior Coughlin, Dixie take off. We got 4 key players in the region take off. As a guy in the region, what goes through a player's mind when you see guys depart?
Yeah, I don't really know. They're all really good players, and they're all going to get good opportunities at the new schools they're at. And I know most of them pretty well, and they just thought it was best for them.
Yeah. Good answer. Good answer. What goals do you have this year? You got a number in mind as far as catches? Are you going to be one of the guys coach is going to turn loose and play a little bit both sides of the ball?
Yeah, I'm playing slot and safety. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have any numbers set, but just on the offseason, I've been working on my footwork and my speed. That's pretty much been my goal, is just get as fast as I can and get my footwork as best as I can.
Let's go to Max. Max, you healthy? Feeling good?
I'm very healthy.
You look strong. Are you the guy?
Stronger than I was before.
You the guy pushing everybody in the weight room, or is that somebody else?
No, that's me.
That's you?
That's all me.
I wondered. Who can hang with you? Anybody can hang with you?
Maybe some of the linemen, but that's about it.
I like that. You need the linemen to be strong. How's the line looking? I mean, you're going to be toting the rock. You need them to be
No, yeah, they look good. I think they look just as good, maybe even better than last year. We had some big guys last year, but I think we've got stronger guys this year. They've been able to push people down the field.
I'm trying to think, how many starters back? One starter back on the O-line?
I think two.
Two.
But we've got some guys that are coming up, and they've got experience, and they'll be able to push people on their butt.
Where are some of the camp battles going to be for starting positions? What do you think? Like, where are they at? The trenches, in the secondary?
What do you mean by a question?
Well, like, where's a couple of the position groups that it's up in the air who coach isn't going to give the starting job to?
We don't know yet. We're still all battling. There's no set positions yet. But I think it's a battle everywhere. Like, we've got guys that compete, and I don't think there's any set positions yet. But everyone's still competing, and I think it's pushing us even harder.
I want to go back to you, Joe Mack. Here, we were talking about just kind of coming into this offense. Coach nailed it. It says that leadership and loyalty. Those two words, what do those mean to you? And what have you kind of done this offseason, I guess, to portray those words?
This offseason, it wasn't up to any one person in our senior class to be leaders. We had a senior meeting a few months back, and we basically decided that we were all going to be leaders on this team. As like in our captain leadership, we got people from all sides of the ball. I mean, we got lineman leadership, we got defensive leadership, offensive leadership, and every single senior, I would say, is a captain on this team. Every single senior, we've been together since second grade. They didn't lose a game in Little League, and we're here, and we're not going to change any of that. The loyalty was something that's kind of become our motto this season. Our offensive coordinator introduced that back in June, and we've really just taken it and trying to apply it. Coming to every single practice and showing the team that you're all in, and that we're going to all be there together. We're going to win and lose. We're going to prepare together and be ready to win.
Were you always a quarterback through youth football all the way up, or have you played other positions throughout, depending on the talent around you?
Wherever coach needed me, defensive end and quarterback has been the main thing.
The main two.
Yeah.
Main two. Let's go back to Andrew. We haven't spoken with Andrew yet. We were talking about the offensive line and the defensive line and the guys in the trenches. Andrew, introduce some of your core guys that are going to be in the trenches with you, man. Give them a shout out.
I mean, I got my guys, Hank West, returning starter, Jackson Hanson, Porter Terry Hamilton, some of the few, Micah, like some of those guys just coming back, just coming up to help with us. That O-line, just key parts to help us run through the season.
What's the physicality like? Like last year, going into this year, how physical? I mean, we call the games on the Fan Sports Network. We see the pads crunching. It seems like it's an all-out war down inside a lot of nights.
I feel like physicality, that's been one of our main points. So our physicality's been getting up a lot lately, like especially in that O-line, D-line. Like we've been really physical, just pushing through.
Do you come from a football family?
No, not really, but no, not really a football
Are you the
family.
first in your family to play football?
No, but like I have uncles and stuff that played football, but nothing like too serious.
Gotcha.
And cohesion's such a big part of offensive lines, playing together for a long time. You mentioned returning starters coming back. How good of a groove are you guys in right now? Pass blocking, run blocking, everything that goes into being a unit, a dominant offensive line.
I mean, I feel like we're doing great right now. Like everything we possibly could want in like an O-line, like pass block, run block, we're doing good right now. And just thanks to our scout team too, giving us those looks that can help us improve our game everywhere.
Let's go back to Coach here. Coach, wrapping up, good guys, right? Man, these guys are some awesome leaders for your team. You got to be excited about the year, huh?
Super excited. I tell everybody that doesn't, like right now is when football starts, maybe even early for the average, person paying attention. But most of the heavy lifting's done. There's a lot of things to still work on. I'm not meaning to say that it's kind of smooth sailing. but a lot of the mental work, and I'll just kind of add to the offensive line, for example, is we went all the way back to the very essence of where we started with Coach Nowatzki and our offense, and then as it progressed, because we realized, you know what, these kids don't know step 1, we're teaching them at step 20. So we got in meetings and got up on the board and got film up and got the mental right, so that when we we're repping things the correct way. And I think that's going to help us big time on both sides, knowing what to do and being able just to not think and play.
You guys don't have a bye week this year, I don't think. You're playing 4 non-region games. Stansbury, Manti, Cathedral out of California. I don't know anything about them. Maybe you can tell us.
I believe Bryce Young played there until he went to Mater Dei. I talked to UCLA's coaches. They said they had speed all over the field. I said, I'm not worried about speed. We worry more about the ones that have houses in the box. But it's going to be awesome. We're in talks of maybe going to the Utah Tech Montana State game together the next day, if we can make that work.
Oh, cool.
So there's going to be some great opportunities. It's a private, I believe, Catholic school in downtown LA. Looks like an awesome campus, and we hope we can go back next year.
That's awesome. And then you'll finish up against Centennial, Nevada, and of course with the RPI. I know you're still old school. The region champion still means
it matters to me.
Exactly. Good luck. Go getting it done.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing the guys. And Coach Esplin, the Snow Canyon Warriors. We're not done yet. We'll take a break here on the Fan Sports Network. Still Cedar and Pineview yet to come when we come back. Hey, welcome back to our 2024 Region 9 Football Media Day here live from the B Moore Sports Complex. We're kind of up above Nets on Fire, lounging around, talking some football. Thanks for tuning in, listening, or watching. Appreciate the Rink, Intermountain Sports Performance. Some of our other great sponsors helping you bring you the Media Day coverage: Boulevard, Holbrook Asphalt, Red Rock Real Estate, Appliance Wholesalers Plus, Bucks Ace Hardware, and Johnson Pediatric Dentistry. Next up, now joining us on set, the Cedar Reds and Coach Hyatt. We'll get to the players in a second, Coach, but good to see you, good to have you, and want to start with you and kind of bring us up to speed on the job and the offseason and give us an overall preview of what we can see on the field for the Reds this year.
No, thanks for having us. This is a cool facility. This is the first time I've been here. I was telling these guys, I was like, man, if I was in high school, I'd be down here hooping all the time. This is a cool spot. Job's been great. I mean, it's definitely a transition, but it's been great because, I mean, we got great guys like these on the team, and you know, at the end of the day, football's football. Whether you're playing BYU or you're playing Richfield week 1, I mean, you still got to block and tackle. So, no, it's been a good transition. The boys have made it a lot of fun, and June was fun. We had team camp and SUU camp and everything else and had a little bit of break, but now we're full swing.
Everybody's mentioned SUU team camp. It seems like most of the teams, I don't think Snow Canyon did, but a lot of the other teams were there. And that's in your backyard, and you're pretty familiar with that camp. But it sounds like everybody has a blast, and it's one of the best camps in the state, if not the best.
Oh, they do a great job because, you know, one of the coaches on staff, Ryan Hunt, a lot of people know him as Zesty, he played there. He got it going under previous coaches, and, I mean, I think everyone in the state, that's where they go. I mean, they have 2 sessions, and they've got 40-some teams between the 2 sessions, and so everyone goes down there, has a good time. I think for us, it's in our backyard. Everyone else kind of want to get out of town.
Stay in the dorms.
You know what I mean? Yeah, stay in the dorms, get at 6,000 feet elevation. You're hoping for cooler weather. But, no, it's a great spot.
Take us through turnout. How many numbers, 9th through 12th grade did you get? And talk about some of maybe the position battles where you could see some not literal fights, but some fights for starting positions play out in fall camp.
No, so we have about 110 kids out, and we took almost all of those kids to SUU camp, which I think is one of the biggest things when it comes to high school football is just us being able to go to team camp in the summer, the camaraderie, the teaching, the progression, all those type things. So we had about 110 kids, and I would say probably one of the biggest things that we're looking at right now is running backs going to be a really big question for us. We're not sure there. A few kids are fighting for battles at those positions. And then I would really say our defensive back end and even skill set. You look at Cedar last year and just being a recruiter, there were a lot of good players in the skill. Like, there were some really good players, and there were some seniors that left. And but when those kids leave, opportunity for guys to earn starting roles and things. And especially in our defensive backfield, like I've just always believed, like that's one of the biggest things is that you can lose a game real quick, giving up bombs over the top. And so for us, that's kind of been a big focus throughout the summer, and right now in camp, going into day 3 tomorrow, for us, just making sure that we're solid on the back end to force the offense to drive the whole length of the field.
Real quickly, for people that know, Coach, tell us your philosophy, X's and O's. Talk a little strategy without giving any secrets away. What are we going to expect to see play-wise for the Reds this year?
Well, I mean, there's no secrets. We're trying to score more than the other team. So I would say with us, we try to keep it light. Like I would say for us, like there's a big emphasis on being able to control the football, as much as possible, as if we can keep our defense out of bad positions and be able to play sound defense. And I think, too, like the name of the game, like I think at every level of football you're seeing, teams are scoring. And so you've got to figure out how to score points, and you've got to figure out how to be creative on offense and how to get it to your best players. And ultimately for us, that's sometimes that's not so much what scheme you're doing, but who you get it to and who you get it to in space and allow them to be able to do what they want to do. And so for us, I think for what we want to do, we want to be very sound fundamentally in what we do and really not beat ourselves. We don't want to put ourselves in a bad situation.
And, Coach, whenever you're joining into a new team, there's always those group of guys that have been there, that have carried over from the year before, whether they're sophomores going into junior season, juniors going into their senior year. Has there been a group of guys, and maybe one of these four here, that you can say they've really taken over this locker room and they're kind of being the one to lead the way?
I think there was definitely a filling out process when getting to the program, and I don't know, maybe these guys could speak to that too, but you get a new coach, there's always transition, there's always different things, you're kind of filling each other out. But I would really say, obviously these young men right here have done a great job. Trace Ovison, Dago Hutchin, Tate Hulse. There's quite a few kids that I think that are seniors that might not be household names as far as playmakers in Cedar football, just because they had older guys in front of them. But a lot of those kids have been pretty consistent. I think it's a huge testament to the young men that, we do our summer workouts and, they don't get paid. A lot of them have jobs, a lot of them do different things. And I would say consistently through June and then July, we've had consistently around 85 kids. And I think that's just a testament to those young men to really buying into the process of what it takes to be successful. Because that's something that we talk about is just because you do the right thing doesn't mean that you're going to end up making plays and be successful right then. But the process of how you do things day in, day out, there's a reason why there's teams that are successful year in and year out. It's because of what they do daily. And I would say that those names, along with these young men, they've done that consistently and just decided to wake up that day, be the best they can, and then do it again the next day.
And, Coach, always in year one, there's always an implementation of your culture. You want to bring in your values, your things, practice habits, all that stuff. But what about off the field? What's the buy-in level been in the weight room, the speed training, certain things that go into being a good football player come the season?
Well, I think it goes back to like with those young men we were talking about, those 85. That's just with our running and lifting. We do a little bit of skill work. That's one of the things I think at high school level you're allowed to do a few more of those things than kind of what I'm used to in the past. But I would say with these guys, the biggest thing that we talk about is the game of football. Yes, your change of direction, your speed, all of those things are crucial. But the teams that can move the most weight in the weight room are typically really good. Like you look at the previous state champ and you go in their weight room, those kids are moving weight. And I think that that's just something that you've got to have total buy-in, not only from your players and your coaches, but your administration to really buying into like this is how you change, this is how you win football games. And I think those kids are buying into that process.
First year is Coach Cowan at Herkin, first year. Coach Boyer's a younger head coach. I mean, Coach Munker's been at Dixie 13 years. Coach Esplin, 9 years at Snow Canyon. But there's some younger coaches coming into the region. Can you surprise some people this year a little bit? Maybe they don't know and have all the past film. They go back and see what kind of your tendencies are. I mean, are you a guy that likes to go for it a lot on fourth down? Like, give us a little snippet of that one. That might feel like to be the surprise team this year.
Yeah, no, I definitely think so. I told the boys yesterday, we were practice number one and everyone's excited and everything else. And I told them that, overachievers were once overbelievers. That, you have to believe that you can do special things in order for those things to happen. And I think especially in the game of football, like what makes our sport so great is that it changes year to year. Especially at the high school level, because you have a group of seniors, which we have a great group of 23 seniors. These guys are going to be gone. And so what are they doing to then be able to bring in the next crop of guys? And like your team is always evolving, even in small communities like this. So year to year, your team evolves, but it's really about, that belief system and like what can you do that season? And it's one game at a time and it's one practice at a time. And so I'm really proud of these guys for doing that because I think we push them. I think we get after them. I think we try to do things the right way. And I think they've been challenged maybe in ways that they haven't been challenged before. But I think freshmen through seniors, all of our kids have responded the right way. And so for us, I think really just embracing that daily process.
We'll circle back to Coach Hyatt, get his thoughts on the schedule and some other things in just a second. Let's bring in the guys. Made the way down I-15 to join us here for our Media Day coverage. We've got Everett Kelling, JT Orr, Crew Giles, and Ian Puha. Did I say that right? Poha. Way off.
He was pretty close, though.
Okay, closer than most. I should have checked with you before the set. How do you say it, Coach? Let's hear it.
Poha.
Poha. I said
hey, and the only reason I know that is because his dad's our O-line coach.
That's right.
And I messed it up for a few months, so I had to practice.
I won't mess it up the rest of the year. Everett, let's start with you. Talk to us a little bit early in the season. You know, Lunt was the quarterback kind of star, and then you kind of took over. You put up some pretty good numbers, threw for over 2,000 yards, and you weren't the starter from day one last year. How is getting that experience last year going to propel you into bigger things this year?
Yeah, so got the call week 2 against Juab when coaches felt change needed to be made at quarterback. No, it was a great experience for me because being able to throw to, like what Coach mentioned, on a lot of those great skill players last year. And, I mean, I wasn't as good then as I am now, so it's still a work in progress, but they were definitely able to help me out when it terms of 50-50 balls and stuff like that. And so that experience has helped prepare me for a more season where our receivers still, I think we got a really good receiving core. The way that they play is a little bit different, and with my development as a quarterback, I think should only improve our passing attack.
You're from a football family. Your dad's a coach up there with the T-Birds, right? He was with Coach Tyatt on the same staff. I mean, does football ever stop at your house? Is it always 24/7 football at the Kelling household?
I mean, well, my mom was a basketball coach, so that's the other half.
Okay.
But so we take a 3-month hiatus in the winter for basketball, then it's right back to football.
Gotcha. What's some individual goals you might have this year? I mean, the 2,000 yards, do you have a number? You know, touchdown interception ratio, is that something you've thought about? Some individual goals?
Yeah, so yardage just kind of is like, for me personally, like take what you get. Like, coach has been grinding me hard on just take free yards, even if it means I'm not holding the ball for a full drop and trucking it like 40, 50 yards down the field. It's more an aspect where I'm looking to improve is completion percentage and then touchdown interception ratio. A goal would be like 65+ completion percentage. A 3-to-1 touchdown interception ratio would be great, since I don't think I got very close to either of those last year.
15 touchdowns, 11 interceptions.
Yeah, so that's way too many. Work in progress.
3-to-1's a great goal. No, I love it.
So those are the main passing goals that I have. Also been working, trying to get faster. My 40 time's gone down a little bit. Shuttle's gone down a lot. Being able to be not necessarily a pull and run Lamar Jackson 80 yards to the house kind of guy, but just being able to pick up yards, move the chains on third down. That's another goal of mine.
You want him running, Coach?
Hey, you know what? I love the confidence. You know what I mean? That's what it takes to be good.
Be careful with the 80-yard runs.
I never said I was breaking it off. I might just get 20 yards and then just slide.
Yeah, there you go. That's right.
Russell Wilson style.
You know, exactly. Coach was bringing up. I was going to say, Coach, you were bringing up how important the weight room is and that kind of physicality and the strength. So, JT, Ian, talk to me about the trenches. What can we look forward to this year? What are we going to be seeing out of the offensive line, defensive line, and what's kind of been some of that mentality that we're playing with?
Yeah, so, you know, obviously we lost a lot of guys last year, like Coach Hyatt and Everett have talked about. But I think, you know, with the coaching change and getting a new defensive coordinator as well, a lot of, you know, new scheming and a lot of new technique has come with that, and I think we've done a really good job of adapting to that. And, you know, I think we're going to be a lot better this year up front than we have been in the past couple of years. So,
yeah, like JT, how we have all those new techniques and everything. We've been doing a lot of off-season work and preseason work to improve our strengths. With the new coaches, Coach Miller and Coach Boha, they push us to be our best selves and really strive to push it and get hustle and get the drive going.
You know, last year you guys 2-4 in region, 3-7 overall. Is that something that you guys have talked about? Like, hey, let's get above 500 in region. Let's have a winning record overall this year. Is that something that's vocalized ever?
Yeah, we do talk about getting better and improving than we were last year, because you always can start from scratch, make it better how it was. When
we did really good last year, and I believe we can do better than this year.
Looking at some other names of teammates, I'm just curious, like, who's a beast in the weight room right now? Like, give me 2 or 3 names of guys that just can throw the weight around.
We got a kid named Tate Holes. He's really strong. Our quarterback over there, Everett Kelling. And then JT Orr here, they lift a lot. They're really good. And then there's also one other, Noah Parker. Those guys, they can put down weight like no other.
JT, are you lobbying to play any offense this year? I know you had like almost 50 tackles last year, a couple sacks, a lot of tackles for loss last year. I know you're good on that side of the ball, but what about offensive?
You know, I've been trying to convince Coach Hyatt to let me play offense. I've been basically begging him to put in a heavy set and just let me play fullback.
There you go, a little goal line situation.
Run some fullback dives, and let me run at linebackers. And I think we have one installed, but we haven't run it yet, and so I'm hoping that'll change here in the next week or so. But
we're trying to figure out if he can really play linebacker. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to see if we can get that mastered before we take step 2. But we got that carrot out there for him.
Coach, stylistically, I wanted to go back to Coach. Stylistically, is this going to be a team that's a ball control, run the ball, ground and pound offense, or is this going to be a track meet, sling it all over the yard, or a combination of both?
I think it's going to be a combination of both. Like I think anytime offensive football, the one thing for us is that we really want to control tempo, because that's the thing offensively that the defense can never handle, is that offense is always controlling the tempo back and forth. But within that, I think it's game to game. Like there's going to be times where I feel like we're going to match up pretty well up front. I think there's times where, hey, maybe we don't match up as well, so we got to spray it around the yard a little bit. I would kind of say that what really helps with having a quarterback like Everett, because we got a lot of experience last year, all-region player, really good, and only a junior. So I think having a kid back there that can kind of do both. And I would say, too, like I appreciate Everett's answer, because it's not about how many yards or whatever else. It's about protecting the football and winning. So whatever we can do to be able to get that done for us is the goal. But I would definitely say with our tempo, just how we can dictate that offensively to then protect our defense, so that we don't. The less snaps you play on defense, the less likelihood the other team scores. So that's what we're trying to do.
Really quick, take a look at the schedule for a second. Richfield, Bear River, Canyon View, first 3 weeks of the season. Then you get into region play. Your thoughts on the schedule, Coach?
No, I think it matches up for us. The schedule, it is what it is. Our athletic director, he was asking me today, he's like, man, what a great week 1 game right there. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to go to the 3A state champ on the road. You know what I mean? Thanks for that first game. Because they do a great job. But I think all of the games in the preseason for us are going to be great, going up to Bear River, Canyon View. Coach Miller and them, they do a great job. I thought they were phenomenal last year at Canyon View. I thought they were really good. Really good players. And so I think it's going to be a really good test for us going into the region, which, having followed Utah football for a long time and then this region, I think this region is one of the best in the state. So I think those games are going to help prepare us for what we're going to see come September.
And I know you might not have had a lot to do with the schedule, but you don't have a bye week because you're playing Logan on the bye week later in the year too.
We are. So, and I think with that too, when we looked at the schedule, I'm all about giving our kids opportunities to play. I'm all about having opportunities for our guys, because you only play 10 guaranteed games. Yeah, you get the playoffs, but I just think having that opportunity for our kids to play, because especially like I tell our seniors all the time, this is your last guaranteed season of football. Like, you just don't know what's going to happen, and so make the most of that opportunity, and let's get as many contests as we can. And I actually like having it in the middle of region play right there, just because – week after week in this region, you face really good teams. And so to see a new face or something else, I think kind of helps with our kids of what we're focusing on, and then we finish it out towards the end with DH.
Absolutely. Helps the RPI as well. Coach Hyatt, first year head coach. Thanks for bringing the guys down, Coach. Wish you the best luck. We do have, I believe, 3 or 4 Cedar games live this year, either on the live stream or on the radio on the Fan Sports Network. Guys, best of luck. We'll see you on the football field.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, the Cedar Reds, we've got to take a break. Not done yet. Pineview joins us next from our 2024 Region 9 Football Media Day. Hey, welcome back. High School Football Media Day, Region 9 style, here live from the Be More Sports Complex and presented by the Boulevard. And next up, the Pineview Panthers joining us here live on set. And we've got 5 players, Boston Wilden, Kason Himmelwright, Carson Curtis, Levi Shaw, and Brock Harris. And then, of course, the coach himself, Mr. Talkative, KJ Boyer. I'm old enough to remember when KJ was a player at Pineview, and now he's taken over. This is your 3rd year already for taking over for Coach Osner.
Yeah, 3rd year.
Time flies, buddy. Let's start with you, Coach, and take us through the offseason and give us an overall preview for the Panthers this year.
We had a really good spring. We got it in the mornings before school got out and worked our tails off in the spring, and then had a really good summer session for our 7-on-7s. We battled, we competed, we did a lot of good things. BYU, we lost to like Lone Peak and lost to some tough teams, Wasatch, and you here at Utah Tech. So we did a lot of good work, and these guys have been putting in all the work in the off season. And we're 3 practices deep, and I like where we're headed right now.
Feel like you're further ahead than last year at this time?
Yes, big time. We're head and shoulders where we were at last time.
Coach, give us some names. I mean, these guys are going to be key players, but give us some names that maybe didn't get a lot of RC time last year that we can expect to do some big things and contribute this year for you.
We got a lot of newcomers on offense, especially. We got Kyle Richardson coming in at running back, and he'll only be a sophomore. Quade Sorensen played a little bit of offense last year, played some defense, but he'll be starting outside, so he'll be a name to look at as well. And defensively, we got a lot of senior heavy guys that they're going to be coming into their own. We got Max Durst out there, Andre Sanchez, Jackson Blanchard, Trey Mitchell on our back end with Kaysen over here. So we got a lot of good things that we're going to be excited for this year.
Coach, last season you guys kind of finished off 3-7. You had a good start to the season, it felt like. But then just as region goes on, things get a little tougher as you go. But now you have a full offseason in. Everybody seems to have bought in. What do you expect going into this next season, and how can you turn that around towards the end of the year?
I just expect to keep the progress and keep working hard and peak at the right times. I don't want to try to go undefeated and say, we're going to go undefeated and lose in the first round of the playoffs or tail off at the end of the year. So just keep striving and keep working hard, just outwork everybody. And that's always been kind of Pineview's MO since I've played was we may not be the most talented, we may not be the biggest, but we're going to outwork everybody we play against.
Coach, we talk about football starts up front on the offensive and defensive lines. You obviously had a great one in Cam Smith last year. He moves on, but you still have a lot of continuity along that offensive line for returning guys who got snaps last year. Talk about how big your offensive line is going to be for you this year.
Oh, they're going to be huge. They had a little O-line get-together on Saturday last week, and I went by and hung out with them for a little bit, and I just told them the offense goes as the O-line goes. If they can make everything and we can run and pass, it makes us that much more deadly. And with Boston here leading the way at center, calling everything out, we're in good shape.
Question, does Brock get invited to the offensive line parties, Boston? Tight ends get included in that? I know he's more of a passing tight end, but he's got to block sometimes.
Well, he comes down to block the sled with us a few times. He's coming down. He's a good blocker. I don't think people realize that about him, but he blocks just as well as us.
I'm just wondering if he got the invite or if you make him bring the food or anything.
Oh,
no invite.
I think Brock's.
We could change that. We can get him next time.
We'll change that around.
Hey, Paul just mentioned, let's go to Boston. Boston, four guys back. I mean, how big of an advantage is that you got that chemistry coming back?
Oh, it's huge. I played with all these guys last year. We're kind of on the same wavelength or whatever. I think we're going to be big. We're going to kind of move as one. I think we're all kind of playing the same game. But, yeah, I think that'll be huge.
You're, 6'2", 6'3", maybe 305 or so?
6'3".
What's the average weight and height of your offensive line?
So, our lightest guy is 260. So, and everyone else is 290 and above. So we've got a big line, and they're all strong, athletic. I think it's gonna be different than lines of the past for sure.
Coach, do you have the biggest O line in the region, or is D Hill's a little bit bigger? I know they lost Stu, but they got some big boys over there. But you guys might have you guys might be really close as far as the biggest offensive line.
Yeah, I think we're probably pretty close, and so that'll be a first week of region fun game to start off with those guys and kind of hopefully establish our region dominance this year.
We'll say this. You guys definitely have the continuity. We've talked to a few teams already today, and all of them are really kind of moving the offensive line around. A lot of guys have moved on. A lot of guys have graduated, but to bring back 4 is huge. And I just want to, ask Brock, because Devin was giving you a little hag. As the tight end in the room, are you getting down and blocking with them? Are you getting in there, or do you feel like it's more, hey, I just want to catch the ball?
I definitely love blocking. I think my strength is running routes and stuff, but I love blocking. I don't want to be just looked at as a receiving tight end.
And I bet Coach loves that to hear too.
Yeah.
Let's go to Kaysen for a second. Kaysen is a safety. How's the secondary look, man? Give us a little feel for how you're guys on the back end are looking right now through fall camp? I know you're only a couple days in, but you got a lot of confidence back there?
Yeah, we have a lot of confidence. For the whole defense, we just have a lot of confidence with each other. The whole spring season, we felt like we were moving as one, and every single one from back end to front end. And with Trey Mitchell, I can depend on him anywhere. So
the region's kind of got away from, nobody's running a wing T anymore. It kind of seems like everybody's balanced, but of emphasis on passing. That varies team to team, so you got to be good on that end. Are you a guy that likes to come up, put your hat in the box sometimes, or are you liking to play back in coverage?
I like to get down and get into the tackles and like to clean up anything that's not cleaned up.
I like it.
Who's one receiver in Region 9 that you're looking forward to defending and being in good coverage and good spots against?
Maybe like Mao Alafipo from Crimson. I used to play like SU Elite with them, so like a club team with them. So I'm used to them, and I would want to play Crimson again. So.
Yeah, he's a speedster. That's a good choice. That'll be a fun matchup when you guys match up with the defending state champs. Let's go to Carson. Carson, talk to me, man. Another guy in the trenches a little bit. We were talking with Boston about that. What's your mentality? Are you the 260 of the group?
Huh? No way.
No.
No, I'm only like 205.
205?
205 plus.
How much were you after the end of last season compared to now?
I was like 175.
Okay, so you put some weight on.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. You're going to be playing outside backer mainly, right?
Yeah.
Okay. They don't need you at O-line.
I mean, yeah, basically. We got a really good D-line coming in. Andy, Dayton, Danny. We got a kid named Bula. It's looking so good. And they're very aggressive kids, and I just love it. I used to play defensive end, but it's kind of sad seeing my old position, but I just know I can trust the new kids coming up playing that position.
How much have you guys changed positions? You mentioned you've played a different position. Is there a lot of that going on where you're matching guys up to different positions just to fill needs?
Yes and no. I just moved to backer because I think going on into college I'll probably most likely play that position based on my size and stuff. But no, we haven't really moved a lot of people around. Everyone's really good at where they're at, and yeah, I just feel like everyone's solid what they're doing right now.
Let's go to Brock. Brock, I mean, the accolades, the work you put in, you've been making the rounds, you got all the stars by your name, you're still just a pup, you're just going to be a junior. How long you been driving? How long you had your driver's license, man?
I turned 16 in April.
Okay, so not too long.
Yeah.
No accidents yet, though?
Well, I'm 17 now, so I've had it for
a year and a half. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're an older junior.
Yeah.
I love it. What's the summer been like for you? You've been making the rounds, buddy.
Yeah, so the first half was a lot of camps and visits and stuff, and just seeing as many places as I can. But then the second half has just been off-season work. I've been to Oregon, and I trained with my 7-on-7 coach there, and yeah, just been working.
How much do you feel like you have to kind of balance the not just off-season with your team, but the off-season, the individual training, the speed training, strength and conditioning stuff? There's got to be only so many hours in the day that you can spread up. How do you feel like that gets divvied out?
I mean, you have to kind of find a balance in between. I mean, if we have stuff in the mornings, I'll go do that. And then when we have stuff, we're pretty busy, through the whole day. We'll have lifting and then practice and whatever. But if we don't have anything, I definitely find time to do stuff on my own.
Taking advantage of that first half of the summer, I'm guessing there, yeah?
Yep.
You're the number one prospect at tight end in the state of Utah in your class. You're the number 3 guy, I think, in the country in your class. Is there pressure that comes with some of those stars by your name and some of those accolades?
I mean, not really. I think when it first, last year with all of it, it was kind of new and it kind of was a little bit of pressure. But, I mean, I just try not to think about it as much and just play. Because that's all, I don't think it means as much. Just play the game. That's what I'll think about.
What are I've lost track. Over 30 offers right now. I mean, eventually, what are you going to have to do? Maybe make a top 10 list and just try to whittle it down and go on some official visits? I mean, what's that thought process like on when you'll try to maybe narrow that down and decide maybe after the season and into next summer?
So I came out with the top 20 list, and I'll probably make a decision at the beginning of my senior year.
So got some time.
Yeah.
Got some time.
Definitely.
Levi, I want to ask you a couple questions. Coming in playing quarterback, you got Brock Harris, of course, one of the best weapons, not only just in the region, but really we talked about just now the state, right? But what about some of the other receivers and just kind of getting into this offense? How has things been going for you?
Personally, I think it's been going smooth, but the three other weapons we have, Quade, Corbin, Maka, Colt, Paul, I think they're unknown for right now, but I think they'll be on everybody's radar by next year. They're just athletic. We're explosive. We're going to throw the ball a lot, hopefully a lot. But it's gone smooth. It's fun playing for my dad. It's a great opportunity to learn from him. Good playing with Coach Haas, playing for Coach Boyer. But it's a good opportunity so far, and we're looking good. Offense is smooth. O-line's really good. Running back strong. Obviously, Brock helps a ton. So,
a lot of player-coach combinations in the region, and that dynamic is interesting. I'm always fascinated by it. You've been around this program since you were like this, right?
Yeah. I have.
You got to have a lot of pride in the fact that you're going into the season as the starting quarterback at Pineview High, because you've seen all the years and all the success this program's had. When you try to put that into perspective, what goes through your mind as I say that out loud?
I think it's a cool opportunity to follow in footsteps of many great quarterbacks. We've had a really quarterback-rich program, like very strong candidates throughout the years. I feel like I can hopefully end in somewhere high up there and just going to play my game and do as best as I can.
What's your strength right now? Is it arm strength? Is it mobility? Is it pocket presence? Is it footwork? Like, what do you describe your strength is?
I would say it's my mind. I feel like I'm really good at reading. I feel like I help understand the defenses and help the O-line and help communicate things well, and I feel like everything else comes with it. I feel like my footwork's strong, and with good footwork, I feel like my arm follows.
Brock, is the offensive coordinator hard on his quarterback?
Oh yeah, I mean some days you wouldn't believe that it's a father and son duo, but they always make up, but yeah, it's some days it's pretty rough. Coach Shaw gets on him a little bit, but yeah, it's good.
He just wants to push you to be the best,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
you know that, right, Levi? You know that.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. Do you guys ever turn football off and just say, okay, that's enough, let's watch Netflix?
For me, I try to because I can't stop thinking about it. My dad is just, hey, Levi, come downstairs. Look at this play I've drawn up. It's just like, all right, hold back on that. I don't know if we're ready for that. But we try to get a little mix of it. He never stops, but at least I try to.
You are you got to put your head in the film, though, right? Like,
I watch a ton of film.
Yeah.
We watch a lot of film as an offense, and I know they do as a defense. So we get a lot of hours in. So.
Nice to throw to Brock because you don't have to be that accurate. You just throw it up there in the vicinity. He can go get it, right?
I try to pride myself in accuracy. Make it easier for him, but you're absolutely right. It really is.
I love it. Coach, what's it like, he mentioned some of the great quarterbacks, the Cody Wilsteads, the James Larks. You can go back to the Adam Legg. The list goes on and on. I've seen a lot of great quarterbacks in the last 20-plus years calling games in this arena, but this has a chance to be quite the duo the next 2 years. They're both juniors this year, right? Like, these two could have quite the connection, and you got other playmakers that can take the pressure off those guys.
Yeah, that's right now looking at our offense, you'll pretty much see the same crew next year. They're all it's a junior heavy led class, and they're all best of friends, and they all work well together. So obviously that connection right there is bread and butter, and there's the rest of them just make life even easier. Because if you double cover Brock, there's going to be other mismatches across the board that Levi's going to be able to take advantage of.
Coach, I did a few of your games early on in the season last year, and I used to say that you guys had a triplets last year. You had Costa, you had Quincy Jones, and you had Brock, of course. Who are going to fill out the other two spots in that triplets for you guys this year?
So, I mean, you got Brock's back, but Quade Sorensen, Corbin Yoakum, you got Paul Caver, Colt Falanico. We have a new move in, Makana Fiafia, and they're all going to fill in. Trust me, we'll have more than triplets this year.
Awesome. Coach, real quick before we run out of time, the schedule, I mean, you start with Canyon View on the 16th, and then you got Tooele, and then you get into region play. Do you like the schedule this year? Manti's the opener. I didn't mean to skip Manti, but that's the opener on the 16th. Then it's Canyon View, then Tooele in the preseason.
No, I'm excited. Manti's tough. We watched them play up in Wasatch a little bit, and their quarterback, one of their receivers, and their DNs are back. So, I mean, they were a tough team last year. So that would be a good opening contest. And Canyon View they were studs last year, so they'll come down here to us, and then we'll go up to Tooele, just have some good tough battles, and then hop into region play after that.
I think our first broadcast of Pineview on the Fan Sports Network will be week 2 when they play Canyon View. Coach, thanks for bringing the guys in. Guys, best of luck. We'll see you out on the football field, and keep working hard in fall camp.
Thanks, Devin.
All right, Coach Boyer, the Pineview Panthers. All right, not done yet. Quick break. When we come back, preseason poll, all region teams. We'll get it all broke down and get the guys' reaction on the entire day. Stick with us here on the Fan Sports Network. Oh, my gosh. Devin Dixon, Connor Collins, Paul Ratliff. Boys, that was fun. What a blast. Thanks to all the coaches, athletic directors, the players representing their teams for joining us here on our 2024 Region 9 Football Day from Nets on Fire, the Be More Sports Complex. Paulie, what stood out to you, man? What resonates after hearing from all the coaches and players?
Just seeing the skill. I mean, just guys, you go down the list, Brock Harris, Cyrus Polu, just guys that we didn't even see Cyrus today, but there's so many studs in this region. It's impossible to make this all region list almost.
You know, we just keep reloading. We lost so many good seniors last year, guys we're going to miss, but that next wave just comes in. CC, what stood out to you today?
Yeah, I think to me it was all the new coaches coming in trying to establish a new mindset, right? You had Coach Hyatt coming in, Coach Cowan coming in, and even Coach Boyer, who's still only in his second, third season with Pineview, trying to establish a mindset. One thing I thought that was really impressive was how all these coaches were ready to talk about, hey, it's a next man up mentality. We talk about in Region 9, kids are graduating all the time. We have seniors moving on from all these good programs. We talk about Crimson Cliffs losing 43 seniors. But what do they have replacing? 41 coming in. So, I mean, that's just something that goes to show these regions are out here. They're stacked. You know, these teams, they're ready.
It is interesting when you look at the all-region preseason poll. This is the combined media and coaches poll. Here's the list, guys, and then we'll get your reaction. Coming in, preseason favorite, the defending state champ, Crimson Cliffs Mustangs. Yes, they lose a lot, but CC, you just mentioned it, a lot coming back. Coming in number 2, Desert Hills. They're predicted to finish second. At number 3, the Dixie Flyers. Number 4, where Snow Canyon slots in the preseason poll. Pineview comes in at number 5, Cedar at 6, and Coach Cowan and the Hurricane Tigers at 7. But I definitely am a believer in Coach Cowan, and he can get that turned around even if it takes a year or two.
Yeah, you could hear it in his voice and in his energy. That's the type of guy who, for me personally, I want to rally behind. I mean, he's like, hey, I'm here for a challenge. I didn't want to go to a team that's been winning for the past 4 or 5 years. I want to take a team to that next level.
He was already at that program.
Exactly.
In Duchesne, where he won, as a coach, a total of 7 state championships. Paul, as I ran down that list, what's the biggest surprise to you? Is there any surprises on where a team was slotted in the preseason poll?
I liked Coach Monkers and Dixie's confidence today. They were said multiple times when we were out talking to the panel that we're going to win this region. We're going to be in a position to take the region. I think them at the 3 spot, I could see them a little higher to come the end of the season.
Yeah, the one thing, Junior Coughlin, he moved. Ryder Holt, Snow Canyon moved away. The Talfa Ocean and Stu Talfa from Desert Hills. Yeah. You had 3 teams there. Picked at 2, 3, and 4, and they all lost at least one big-time player.
Stars,
that had eligibility left, and you hate to see it. Obviously, we wish those guys the best, and people move all the time, and that's just part of reality. And so you deal with it, and it's a next man up mentality. All right, let's get into the preseason MVP and the first team. Any guesses on who the MVP is going to be? There's a lot of we've already mentioned a lot of guys that could. We've seen a lot of guys here that could have been. But any guesses before I tell you who the MVP was based on the votes?
I would say it'd probably be the 2,000-yard rusher, Titan Mason. That'd be my guess.
Yeah, and if it's not going to be Titan, I'm going to go the other way with McCord Christiansen for Crimson. I think that's somebody who could shock some people. He might put up a 2,000-yard season himself.
All right, it is Titan Mason. He was on every single ballot except maybe one. And so Titan Mason, in a close vote, is your preseason MVP. The numbers don't lie. I mean, as a junior last year, over 2,000 yards, 25 touchdowns. So the stats back up the stats back up. He should be the preseason.
He's the workhorse. Over 200+ carries too. The offense ran through him last year. He's very deserving of the Region Player of the Year.
I was actually impressed. I asked Titan, about a long off season after a huge workload. Guys, you put on 15 pounds in muscle. 15 pounds in muscle is huge going into your senior year, especially after a guy just put up 2,000 yards.
And over 120 carries. So he's ready to take that workload and maybe even a few more for Coach Taps and the Thunder. All right, here's the rest of your first team in no particular order. The first team preseason voted by the coaches and the media: Rand Sawyer, Brock Harris, McCord Christiansen, Cyrus Polu, McKay Wright, Malachi Alofapo, Isa Lupati, Max Reynolds, Wyatt Truman, and Archie Therafall. That is your first teamers. Great list, guys. I think a lot of very talented players on that first team.
A lot of next-level players in that group, I think. Just so many talented players from top to bottom. Can't wait to see how it plays out throughout the year.
Yeah, I think it's a great list, and you got a lot of different class, too. You got guys who are juniors, guys who are seniors. You got a couple young sophomores in there, so this is going to be a fun season to call.
Again, great job, guys. Paulie, great job. CC, great job. Shout out to Caden for producing everything. Great job, Caden, Sebastian, and DC Jr. on the cameras for us. Appreciate Nets on Fire, the Rink, Be More Sports Complex, Intermountain Sports Performance, all of our great sponsors that are in this Be More facility for hosting today. Thanks to our great sponsors helping bring you the Media Day as well. The Boulevard Home, Holbrook Asphalt, Red Rock Real Estate, Appliance Wholesalers Plus, our friends at Johnson Pediatric Dentistry, and Bucks Ace Hardware. We've got a bunch of sponsors. We're excited to bring you at least 2 games every single week starting August 16th. There's, I think, 5 weeks. We'll go 3 wide and bring you 3 high school football games on the fansportsnetwork.com. So you're going to see your favorite teams a lot on the Fan this season. Hope you enjoyed the coverage, and let's get to football. August 16th. Cannot wait. For the guys, Devin Dixon saying thanks for watching, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.